7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
He has a lot of problems.
Struggle to be top 5 in points at the end of the season.
Wow.
You bleach your hair, you're a sellout.
Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Moto Aftermath Show. This is episode number 268. We are wrapping up the Nashville Supercross here. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I'm your host, Travis. We're here in the TLR Coatings studios, and we've got a lot to talk about because Nashville tends to not disappoint. For some reason, that place has an aura around it, and it causes absolute and utter chaos. In studio with me today, it's the one and only Justin, who y'all hate to love, love to hate, and everything else in between.
What's up, bud?
I'm really happy you're here because it just focuses everyone's comments on you, and then I just look like a golden child. It makes things great.
It's fine, man. I don't care if people like me or not.
I want you to be the Justin Danger Zone. The Justin Danger Zone.
We should.
Okay?
I should definitely get paid for that.
Just be the bad guy. This
I'm
is
always
pro.
the bad
This
guy.
is pro wrestling here.
I'm pretty sure I've been the bad guy on this show now. It's weird, too, because I never was the bad guy, and now all of a sudden I've been the bad guy, but I think it's because we've gotten a flood of new people that watch the show.
Yeah.
And, yeah, man. Like, you know, the ones that have been here for a long time seem to stick up for me, but, I mean, I appreciate that, but, like, nobody really has to stick up for me. It's fine. I don't care if people hate me or not.
It's fantastic.
I mean, I find that hilarious. Just so everybody knows, like, when you guys talk shit about me, and I don't, obviously, I'm not on YouTube, but, like, when I do look at the comments, I laugh at them. So if anybody thinks that it's actually hurting my little heart, I don't care.
He doesn't lose sleep over it.
Yeah, I don't lose sleep on it. I actually get a good laugh out of it. So keep them rolling, dude. Keep talking shit. It's fucking hilarious.
Fantastic.
It is.
It's fantastic. So, all right. So we got a full pack show here. We have all of our regular sponsors on board here. Show is brought to you by our friends at 50 Grafx and Complete Racing Solutions. They are presenting the show, so make sure to look up 50 Grafx for all of your custom graphics needs there. Mine are still holding up, even though, I crashed this week.
Oh, you rode this week?
I rode, yeah. Well,
Or just figure eight?
I did that first. I'll explain that in a second here. Let me get
Maybe you'll see those graphics coming to a track near you. Well, probably not a track near most of you.
Because I'm poor. So we can't even afford to go to the track. I'm going to just be stuck here.
Maybe you can find somebody that'll pay you. Or pay for you to get into a tractor.
Maybe. Who knows? Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. But those 50 Grafx are still holding up great. Make sure to check them out, 50grafx.com. Also, again, like I said, Complete Racing Solutions, Coach Rob, and the whole team over there at Complete Racing Solutions can help you with basically anything nutrition and performance-based that you need.
Mm-hmm.
And this month, they want to highlight the Coach Rob podcast. So if you're an amateur moto person with kids, if you are a vet moto person, he has 2 new podcasts up that highlight those things and what you should do, shouldn't do, etc. like that. So make sure to go check those out. Again, as I said, we're in the TLR Coatings studios. We have our Flo Racing mini moment of the race coming up. So Flo Racing for all of your amateur motocross, we'll call it part needs.
Mm-hmm.
They
service needs.
They specialize a lot. Actually, I got 3 P-Dub frames and 2 sets of P-Dub wheels out there from them. They specialize in P-Dubs, but he did want me to point out that they do service, build, etc. all realm of mini bikes out there. So 85cc, 125, 65, all the
250Fs, 450s.
He will pretty much work on anything, but he specializes in the smaller bikes there. Gutterworks is going to be bringing you our 450 race recap there. We'll have our Isaac Nelson Designs Deegan Danger Zone there.
Because there was some danger moments.
And we will have a Holster Co. Reload rant.
Oh, you got one?
Yes, I do.
Is it actually a rant that has to do with moto this time?
Yes, it is.
And not the grocery store.
Actually, even has to. Hey, people like that.
I
Did
know,
you see the
I'm
comment?
like, when I read that, I'm like, fuck, dude.
People were like, bro, you're
I was really
spot
hoping
on.
that people were going to be like, shut up. But then when they were like, oh, people liked it, I was like, fuck. They're going to look at this and go, yeah, we're going to do more of these.
Look, this isn't.
I laughed at it, but I was like, damn it. I really wish people wouldn't have liked it because I'm like, Travis is going to read this and be like, this is awesome.
Look, this isn't full blown a variety show, but we can talk about
We
some
have
real
depth.
life things on here.
Sometimes.
Okay.
I mean, let's be real. We talk about a lot of the stuff that has to do with the same shit, but it's fun.
It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, so yes, I do have that. holster coat rant
Okay, cool.
that does have to do with actually something that happened last night. So it's actually very, very
At the race?
relevant. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So, as everybody knows, Cole's not with us here. He was with the in-laws this weekend, and he's late. So,
Should be back for the Philadelphia show.
yeah, hopefully
assume.
be back next weekend. So, anyway, yeah. So me riding this week. Yeah. So I did ride. What day was that? Was that Monday? Maybe it was Monday. Maybe, yeah, I think it was Monday. Yeah, rode the figure 8. And then I decided, you know what? I need some more speed in my turns. So I was like, I'm just going to do a big loop around the arena cross track there. Yeah. Okay, so just down to the big corner and then back up, and I could go along the field and then around the top of the berm type stuff. So I was doing that, and I made it about 9 minutes. And then I was doing okay. So, of course, naturally your balls get a little bit bigger as that's happening. So you're just trying to carry a little more speed into the corner, get a little deeper before you hit your braking zones. And naturally, I locked up my rear wheel.
Oh, you pushed it in too deep.
On the grass.
Nice.
Which then caused the bike to stall.
Oh.
So then we were in a full-blown, uncontrolled slide. Oh. And because I was pushing in so deep, I had initiated my lean already. So now we're in an uncontrollable, no power, cannot let the wheel roll slide on grass.
Oh.
And you know how much traction you have during that?
Nice.
Not much. So we've slid it all the way to the lock of the bars, and then we slid it as far as we possibly could until it finally decided.
Oh, so you not only got horizontal, but all your energy transferred down that the front end actually started to go at the same time.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
And then we high-sided the shit out of ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So, yeah. And I mean, I rolled out of it. I kind of caught myself. I did this, which jammed up this wrist. So Tuesday was a little rough. It was like, my wrist bends like this. Okay, right? This is how they go. It was like I could go about here on Tuesday. So that was fun. And, yeah, I broke my front brake lever. I bent my bar mounts, and my bars were kind of like this.
That'll happen when they hit the steering stop.
Yep. So that was the end of riding that day, which was really funny, too, because I was like, man, you know what? I've rode more already this year than I did most of last year. And I've only rode 3 days. So that's impressive. But yeah, no, that happened. That happened. Now, big positive note before that, when I was riding the first time, and Tom Cooper's going to slay me in the comments for this because he's like, you're just riding in your backyard, just go ride. And I'm like, dude, I just use it as a workout. Like, when you go to work out, you don't just go, okay, well, I'm just going to lift until I can't lift anymore. Or at least most people don't. You're like, I'm going to specifically do something. So I'm going to ride for 15 minutes, whatever. You can think it's gay, you can think it's stupid, whatever. Don't care. Anyway, but that section back there by the woods, right in front of it there, I greased that a few times. I finally figured out roll speed through that corner.
Nice.
Which was awesome. Yeah, so that was fun. I did that before I crashed, so that was cool. But yeah, so now, I mean, I just took it apart this afternoon, so I definitely think the one bar mount is slightly bent. So bar mount, whatever the bushings are that go in the triple clamp for those rubber bushings, because those are, the right ones were just completely obliterated because it had cranked it down, and a front brake lever. Nothing crazy, but yes, yeah, that's, there we are. Yippee. Can't stay off the ground for some reason this year.
Yeah, man, you never
since
used to hit the
year.
deck back in the day, and I don't know what you're doing
I
these
don't
days.
know what I'm doing
And you're getting
either.
older, so the weird thing is usually it goes the other way. You stop hitting the ground as you get older, and all of a sudden you've regressed.
Just getting faster.
Sure.
I don't know. We'll have to see. So, guy told me the other day, I'll run this off you, I meant to do this last weekend. He told me that with the Yamahas, to make them handle more Honda-ish, he goes, you got to crank your axle all the way in. He's like, even if you got to cut a link out of your chain, he goes, that's...
Are you talking about running the rear wheel forward? Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it's going to load the front end because the back end's going to lift.
Because he
it's not gonna
said...
squat. It's not going to extend like,
Yeah. And this is a guy that would know.
Yeah.
And he explained it to me as he goes, yes, because if you were to actually measure that swing arm, it is slightly longer than everybody else is.
And I've been saying this also, especially the newest
Mm-hmm.
generation. If you look at the new, well, now the 250F is the same design as the 450. If you ever pay attention to like Eli's bike, it looks extended. The back end is always squatted.
Nope.
But yeah,
from what
Yeah.
he told me, he goes, this is the new Yamaha situations, which has been a couple of generations now, which would include mine. He said, yep. He said they extended that swing arm so that they would get better starts. He goes, now in contrast to that, it makes you have to steer with the rear a lot more, a la Ryan Villapoto status. He goes, but what a lot of guys are doing if they want it to handle and they're more of a front wheel person, he goes, they just crank it all the way in.
Yeah, it's going to be on the nose on the front end.
And I was like,
it's going to shorten
I
up.
haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
But I'm interested
It's
to
just going
try
to
it.
shorten everything up. But the only problem, well, I guess this wouldn't be a big deal for you since you don't ride a lot of rough tracks that often. The only problem you would have is you start getting into like the really square edge shit, under braking, especially when you're loading the front, like really loading up on the front brake. And a lot of people tend to disengage the clutch going into corners. That back end is just going to be really, really light. But for somebody like you that doesn't ride, let's say Baja or Redbud or Bulldogs or Battle Creek, it wouldn't be that. And actually, for you out here for riding arena cross, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Because it's going to weight the front end and it's going to plant into corners, especially like even when it's hard packed.
And I can just adapt to it when I ride Redbud.
Yeah. But it's definitely, it's just going to lift. It's going to bring everything shorter together. And It's going to lift the back end.
It made sense when he said it to me. And
next time, if you ever, same thing, if you ever like look at all the newest generation, like especially like Eli's bike, pay attention to how much further that rear wheel sticks out behind the rear fender sometime.
I'd be interested to take measurements of like the swing arms from pivot point to where the farthest forward the axle could go and see.
And another thing you can do to also help if you ever get in a situation where you feel like that back end is getting way too light and you're not confident in it. And this is something I preach to a lot of people, like always do the link arms or the link knuckles. So definitely. Like if that's something that you would struggle with, which I don't think your issue was the front end though.
Yeah, but I struggle with it because I'm a front end. Yeah. I steer with the front end
on the nose.
Coming from street bikes.
Yeah.
And so because I struggle with that and that thing wants to weight the rear a little bit more, it causes that front end to feel like it's pushing underneath me, which is a lot of my issues in a lot of my places. So
it also allows you to pivot in and out of corners a lot easier too, because when that back end kind of pushes across, it's not going to want to plant as much, so it's going to be able to get light and you're going to be able to get in and out.
Which is how I ride more too. I don't float through stuff a lot. So that's probably a win-win-win. Look, I can try it and see what's the worst case. I got to buy another chain.
I'd definitely try it.
I'll give it a shot, but not right now because I got to order parts to even get the bike back running. So here we are, and the 450s for sale. So if anybody wants to buy a nice, mint 2015 CRF 450, aka Jeff Walker's
edition.
old bike, that's also for sale. So hit me up. Go down in the DMs.
Down in the DMs.
All right, so there we are. All right, let's jump in. 450 race recap brought to you by our friends at Gutter Works. Always well hung. Just like Cameron Sackadoo. Oh, man. Hey, we're going to fight when we get to talking about that one later.
I doubt it because the person that's leading the points is actually my guy, so I think my guy's
going to fight about this. We're going to fight about this.
Oh, okay,
we're going to fight him and throw sand in your face later when we talk about
dude, the benefactor was my guy.
Doesn't matter. We'll talk about it later. Okay. Well, let me just put my bias cap on here. My guy's back out front.
Isn't your bias cap always on?
My bias cap's always on. Look, here's what happened, man. We're just the fucking man. Okay? We're just the fucking man. There was a different tone last night. The interviews were very serious. We were very locked in.
Okay, here we go.
And what did we do? What did we do?
I think he's always this guy. I just don't think that a lot of people like to act like he's that guy. And I was going to actually bring this up too, and was it before the heat race? When the camera was on him and he was sitting, I don't know if it was a bench or a bale or whatever.
Yeah, sitting there.
And I can't remember.
Some guy.
It looked like Tim Cotter to me. I don't know if whoever come up and Jet was like you could kind of hear him, but you could kind of more read his lips. He's like thank you, whatever, and he's kind of locked in. And I looked at it and I go, like man, I'm like Jet's locked in tonight. Like he's definitely. You could tell that he was. And I'll say something this. And I looked at him and I'm like, man, he kind of looks like he's feeling the pressure a little bit, like he's actually really engaged, but. I think, honestly, this is just Jet's always like that. I just don't think everybody likes to act like he is because he's like, oh, he's like, I got my head in clouds. I'm the kid. But from everything we hear from people around him, and I'm talking about even stuff that like we hear that doesn't get said, Jet's always focused. I just think that he puts off this persona. I don't know. Let me retract that. I don't think he puts it off. I think once again it's the media, our great media that we have in this fucking sport. And I'm gonna get to that.
Oh, is that rant?
It's kind of a rant.
Oh, I can't wait.
And it actually has to deal with who we're gonna argue about in the 250 class. Not for him, just some whatever. I think Jet is always locked in. I just think that sometimes we like to act like he's not, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if we just like to. We don't want to take that innocence away from him that he's like, oh, I got my head in clouds. I'm not super serious, because we all know what happens when you get super serious in this fucking business. Like the fun of it goes away and then you don't want to do it.
You end up with a real thick neck.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm not taking away that maybe he was more locked in last night than he was in the last couple rounds.
I feel like he was, because even his interviews weren't as fun as
But I think he's always locked in, though. I mean,
I do too.
Like, he's been this way a bunch of times this year. It's just, I think that we have this thing that we do with Jet where, because he is this fun-loving kid and he's like, he's got this great personality, that we want to act like he doesn't give a shit. Yeah. But we all know he does. He gave a shit last year in outdoors. I'm not even thinking about that. And then I get a few rounds in and like, I'm not even thinking about the undefeated. And then he got to like 10 motos and like, oh shit. Like, you know what? And then we can see though with his emotion, when you're as emotional as he has with the especially amount of winning that he's done, you care. Like if you didn't care, you wouldn't be that emotional about it. But when he came off the finish line, I mean, you were there. Came off the finish line at Crawfordsville, and he just drops the bike and he walks off the top of the face, and he's going like this. Yeah. Like, I just think we act like he's not locked in because of stuff like that, and I don't know why it is. No, you're right. I think last night there was a different tone. Like I said, I even noticed it, and I'm not somebody that notices that shit about Jet. Yeah. But I think it's kind of a disservice to him. I think he's always locked in. I just think there's times where he knows he has to be a little bit more engaged. Which he was last night. But, I mean, he did. And he's done this quite a few times this year. But this is what I said, though. I was like, look, if he wants to win this title, last night was definitive in my point. As far as, like, if he left there being behind Webb, chances he could win, still okay. But I mean, anything could still happen, too. Like, yes. He definitely has obviously put himself back in the driver's seat. But, and some of the shit was not his own doing, he did lose a huge points gap in a matter of a month. Huge one. But now I will definitely say that I think right now, to me, right now, it's 60-40 going his way. If he wins in Philly, then I think it's outside of anything crazy. But then again, I will say too, I have to say that the group around him. Did you listen to the Moto 60 show on Thursday with Dan Truman on there? No. Dude, he's literally like, yep. He's like, you just walk around and Dazzy's just like. The same thing that we saw there was some video he did last year with when Hunter was getting close, that it was like, we'll either win it or we won't. Doesn't matter. I mean, that's what happens. And as Dan said, but you don't get that with dads all the time. No. Sexton's dad is not acting like that. No, and Stu's dad was not the same way. Big Rick was not the same way. It's very much, we need to fucking win this. Yeah, for sure. Where Darren is more, look, we'll win it or we won't. We're going to win a lot of fucking races. We're going to win a ton of championships. We've won way more money than we could ever imagine we were going to have anyway. We're all good. For sure. Who gives a shit? If you don't win it, you just don't win it. It's not the end of the world. It keeps pressure off your kid. Which I think is great. Oh, and for sure. And I think that's a huge help to this happening. But that was a good win last night, man. I mean, for sure. Tell you what, he put some fucking time on those boys. Where I didn't think he was going to get them at first, when Kenny and Eli, and we'll get to them, Kenny and Eli were fucking ripping. It was funny too, and I didn't want to get to it until we got to Eli or Kenny. But I'm sitting there going, and I almost texted the group text. I'm like, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, what the fuck is this? 2019, dude. I mean, part of me was like, I was getting flashbacks of like Cowie Eli and Honda Kenny, and I'm like, is this fucking 20? Oh, dude, and they put time on him. Those first few laps, I was like. It's not all the time you see those guys riding and you're like, man, they are pushing. Like, they are really ripping. And I think even Jet, I was like, wow. And we saw it in Indy too. Like, and this is why sometimes I think we've seen this enough now where when people make the comment that Jet isn't pushing, I think it's a little bit of bullshit, because I think Jet last night, that pace early, he was like, I don't I don't really want to go this fast this early. And there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean he still not has the most outright speed.
Yeah.
There's times where I think in his brain he goes, yeah, man, these guys are going a little bit too fast for what I want to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
Not that he obviously can't run that speed, but dude, there's some times where your heart rate's not up. Your blood's not pumping enough. Your muscles aren't loose enough to go that fast that quickly, which is definitely a testament to Kenny and Eli, especially Eli at his age and everything he's going through, and we'll get to him. But like Kenny,
Kenny's
bullshit
fast twitch. Yeah,
but like we saw it in Indy when Kenny passed, like when Jet got a start and then Kenny went around him, like, oh man, like there's just sometimes that like Jet doesn't want to go with these boys. It doesn't mean he's not as fast as them.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw it a lot back in the day. I mean, I saw it a shit like with Stu and Ricky. Like there was times where Stu, like the pace that he would put at the beginning of races, you're like, there's no way anybody else in the world can run this pace.
No.
It's just it takes you time to warm up. Once again, it's not anything bad against Jet. We all know that he's fast enough to run with those dudes. Clearly. It's just there's some times where your brain's like, yeah, I don't really want to go this fast this early.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, there was a couple things, too, with Kenny and Eli that they were doing. They were doing that double over the start, which was interesting because I was surprised.
That wasn't faster in my opinion.
I don't think it was faster either. I was really surprised more people didn't do it, but whatever. And then
three
that
into the
triple
whoops,
into the
though,
whoops
I saw that in practice when I saw one of the B-seeded 250 dudes double in. I'm like, dude, there's enough of a lip there. Like, they're going to start threeing in.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised it took them that long to figure it out. But I think it was only faster because the whoops started to break down. I think it was still faster to come off that double and then kind of jump in and then blitz out. But then they got so shitty by the end of the night. Like, you were just rhythming through.
Yep. So,
I mean, it was good. Like he did.
That was a really good race.
He kind of did what he did. Came on Daytona. The thing is, though, and we've said this, and he did it after Daytona. He got on a roll. He's got to keep it going because if for whatever reason he doesn't win in Philly, which I'm not saying he's not going to, but if he doesn't and Coop gets those points back, now once again we're back in this back and forth thing.
Yeah.
You know, we're here and there, and everybody can say that, you know, Jet. If we're close in points at Salt Lake because of his speed. But I'm still going to take Cooper Webb in a win-all situation because just for the fact that Jet's never been in that situation before. Coop's been in that situation plenty of times now. Not to say that Jet can't do it, but it's kind of one of those, I'm just going to go give Coop the nod in a win-all situation at the final round if we're at that point. Who knows? We might not. It might not matter. Because he's been through it. Jet just has not. Cole said it last week. Most of Jet's championships, he's wrapped up either two or a round early. And mathematically, guys were in it. Jacob was in it. But let's be real. We all know that Jet was never going to lose those championships.
Yeah.
Jet's never been in a situation where, like, oh, there's 3 points between you and second place. And then if you don't beat him, and who knows, maybe he just go out and do Jet what he always does because we act like he doesn't feel pressure, whatever. But it's just like Coop's been there, done that. Jet has yet to prove it. One of the few things he has not yet proven in his career, and maybe he just never will. But, I mean, yeah, like right now in my mind, he's 60-40. If he goes and wins Philly, then it's going to be like, oh, man, this is going to be really fucking hard. Because, once again, Coop's not one of those guys that when we get to Salt Lake, he's going to saw off Jet's front end to win the title. He's going to lean on him, but Coop doesn't ride dirty like that. So, you know, this isn't one of those situations.
No. So, Tomac gets second, again, ripping. Absolutely ripping.
And then he fell off. Then he hit a wall.
Yeah.
And it's like,
faded.
oh. But you could,
It's in my notes. Faded.
And I think that's just kind of where Eli is. His body can only go for 15 minutes. And I think we got to the 13-minute mark and then it happened and whatever.
Yeah.
But like his body can only go 13, 15 minutes before it's like, I can't do this anymore. And I don't think necessarily at the beginning of the year, I thought it was, that Achilles tendon's getting tight, whatever. I just think that it's, Eli was off for a long time. That's a serious injury. He's older now. You know, you talk about this with where his mind wants to go. He doesn't need to win any races anymore. He wants to, but he doesn't need to.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between wanting to and needing to. He doesn't need to prove anything to anybody. And I think we've seen this enough now that if all the races were 15 minutes, he'd be in there every fucking race. But they're not. They're 20+1, and I think that's all he's got in his bag anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm here to tell you, man, he came to play for 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
He was making Jet work for that shit. And then after the 15-minute mark, Eli was just like, whatever. And he didn't give up, but he couldn't go anymore.
Did you, so have you heard this thing going around about him being interested in doing some GPs?
I was going to bring that up. Yeah, he was because the factory Yamaha team is down to just one rider in Calvin Verlanderen. Yeah, I've heard it too.
Yeah,
because Gertz and Renault are probably not going to come back for a long time.
Yeah, because somebody asked him if he would be interested in doing it. And he's like, yeah,
Well, he wants to go to Lommel. He wants to race Lommel. He wants to race Lommel, which I think is a bad idea.
Terrible idea.
Eli, if
Maybe
you
you should call RV.
yeah, man, if you would have said this in 2019, I'd have been like, go for it, bro. But this point in your life, man, just don't do that to yourself. It's not worth
I
it.
wonder what outdoors he's going to do this year.
Do you think he even does outdoors?
I don't know.
Because I'm here to tell you, man, like the fact that he's only got 15 in it, granted, obviously your training is a lot different from Supercross to outdoors, when you peak, whatever. But like I'm looking at him going, like even if he does race outdoors, so limited ones, there's only 2 races I could even see him giving Jet, and we're gonna get to Chase, even fits at all, and that's Hangtown and the Wick. Outside of that, what other tracks is he gonna go to that he's even gonna give those boys any fits? Like,
Yeah.
dude, if he's only got 15 in him, I think we go to outdoor trading, he'd upset to like 25, and I was gonna bring this up too. I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, there's only 2 rounds where I can go. Yeah, even this version of Eli, like that's it. Like you got Hangtown and the Wick, because those have always been his best. Because even Washugal's kind of, Chase beat him at Washugal.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know. We
I'd love
haven't
to
heard
see him.
anything. Lewis Phillips brought this up of like, well, we haven't heard anything about him doing outdoors yet. So
I'd much rather go see him do some GPs. Not
Yeah,
Lommel,
that'd be cool.
Not Lommel.
well,
Not Lommel. But I would love to see him go through some GPs, man, because then he can just kind of tick that off his box and be like, hey, man, I've done everything.
Yep. All right, so Cooper Webb gets a distant third. I'll tell you what. I listened to the press conference today. He is very open that he has nothing for Jet speed wise.
Well, yeah,
He is very but
anybody
you don't,
that thought that he would, though,
Eli also doesn't have a lot for him speed wise. He has more than Webb, but he's not. Oh, I wouldn't call him a massive amount speed wise better than Webb.
I think it's for a whole race, though.
Eli's not like where Webb was like, dude, I'll tell you what, if you haven't listened to the press conference from last night, you should go listen to it, because he is very, dude, him being like, yep, kid's so good. Kid's
Let me
so
ask you this,
fast,
though.
whatever.
Let me ask you this, though. Even through Coop's 2 championships, he won a lot of races.
Yeah.
When did we ever go? Oh man,
no,
Coop's,
we never did.
and it's not. This is not taking anything away from Jet. It's just does that comment really surprise you though? He
it's
never would have.
weird to hear it out loud from the guys.
For sure.
Usually they don't, because that's basically an admittance of defeat.
What do you think everybody was saying about Stu back in the day, though, man?
Yeah.
Nobody ever said they could beat Stu.
Yeah, but did you ever hear Ricky say like?
Well, Ricky, let's be real.
I'm
Ricky,
just saying,
Ricky and Cooper are not the same person.
But that's the same level we're talking about at this point. You're talking about championship dudes.
Yeah.
And championship dudes don't openly say that.
I think honestly that it is interesting, but ultimately it doesn't really matter because Coop's still in the championship.
He still is there. Yes, he's only
like we know
5
you're
down.
you're
like,
not gonna like Coop was never faster than Kenny outright. He was never faster than Eli outright. He won the 2 championships. But we all know why Coop won. It's not a bad thing. Like, dude, there's just always gonna be somebody in a series.
Yeah, I know.
That is gonna be faster than you, and you're gonna go, holy shit! The only way I'm gonna beat this dude. Mm-hmm. And what do you think everybody was saying about Eli outdoors for 3 fucking years? I mean. I think it's...
But, dude, even... Okay, well, if you want to do that point, but even Dungy was not like, yeah, I got nothing for that.
Dunge was pretty defeated in 2017.
He was, but even when he
Supercross.
was that defeated, it was never, yeah, that guy's so fast, we got nothing for him. It was, yep, we got to go do some more testing. Like, we all saw the defeat in him.
I think it's a day and age thing, though, man.
Maybe. I don't know, man. It's so weird to see, though, and I'm just like, man,
It's different because you don't hear it, but we all know it, though.
Oh, I know.
Like,
Everybody
everybody knows it. Coop knew it after 4 rounds. Like, he even saw it outdoors last year. Granted, he's never been an outdoor guy on the 450. But, like... It's just them basically saying everything that we know.
Yeah.
You're right. It's rare to see an elite level guy be like, yeah, this guy, he's just faster than me. Mm-hmm. Because our sport, we put a lot of emphasis on speed. Me being one of them. I've always said what I've said about Stu and Ricky and all that. It's weird, but we all have known it. We all knew that if Cooper Webb was going to ever win this title, he wasn't going to beat Jet outright. And and honestly, if he still wins this title, it really doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
It is weird, but... It's not like any of us ever said, yeah, Cooper's faster than Jet outright. No way. No, he's not.
So, Jason Anderson, 4th. I'll tell you what, another couple of laps, he might come up and got Coop, man.
Maybe.
He was on the move.
Also got Hunter.
Quietly 4th.
Which, by the way, I haven't gone back and watched the race. I didn't see the takeout. Did you watch?
I didn't see it. I've heard Hunter's not fucking stoked on it.
I'm curious to see what happened. I should have went back. I should have been back and watched
see it this week, but Weed Show. Weed talked to him off camera, said, yep.
Talked to Hunter?
Yes.
And
said, yes, we're not. He goes, It's not a, oh man, bro, it's a racing incident thing. It's a, we're not happy about that thing. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I wonder what prompted that.
Surprise. What prompted that? It's Jason Anderson.
Yeah,
this is like Justin Barcia. What prompts any of that?
Yeah, but Ando really
Justin Barcia.
Outside of the jet thing this year, though, it's not like he's really gotten into it.
He saw Lawrence on the jersey. He got confused about the number, but he saw Lawrence on the jersey and he just blacked out. He doesn't know what happened.
Yeah, I mean,
well, he woke up, there was a red bike on the ground. He was like, got him. And now he realizes it was the wrong one. He's like, fuck.
Yeah, Hunter may be not happy about that, but I really hope he doesn't play that. I mean, we got 3 rounds to go, so I guess it really doesn't matter. But I really hope he doesn't play that game because Hunter's starting to build confidence, and playing that game with Anderson just does not. I can just see it.
It'll
now
be in practice.
It's Hunter
don't
over
you
the
remember
top
when
of
Faulkner tried that shit with him. 2018 Tampa.
Faulkner and Jason Anderson are not the same people. Anderson takes people out, and he's good at it.
I'm just saying, Hunter.
I can just see Hunter sitting over the backside of a berm, going, "That was stupid." Look, man, if you're gonna tell me that Hunter's gonna try to play that game, I'm gonna tell you right now, he ends up over a berm.
Maybe
he's not taking Anderson out. That's like fucking with Barcia. Like, how many people have we ever seen that go well for? 0. Never. Vince Freeze, maybe, because you obviously got a huge outright speed difference, and Vince Freeze a dodo head. But I'm just here to tell you, man, I don't want to see Hunter. He's building. You can tell his confidence. He's getting a little bit of speed back. He's obviously now he's got 2 heat wins. Like, he's looking froggy in practice. Why would you derail your momentum with 3 rounds to go in Supercross by doing something that you're not going to get anything out of?
Just fuck that guy. That's why.
Well, I'm just going to say this. If he does, he's an idiot.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Hopefully, for my sake, I'm cheering for it. Hunter's my friend, but I'm cheering.
I just don't want to see Hunter get hurt, man.
I don't want to see him get hurt either, but I would like to see the fireworks between him and Ando.
Neither of them are going to fight. They can't fight their way out of
Can you imagine
bag.
if Ando grabs both their helmets in the same year? Holy shit.
That'd be awesome.
It'd be so great.
I really hope if he does, though, he just slaps the shit out of the shell of the helmet.
Hunter is my friend, but I am cheering for this to happen.
I mean, that part would be funny, but I just don't want to see anybody get hurt.
Anyway, Barcia gets 5th.
That was weird. That was unforeseen.
I mean,
I don't really know if I saw a Barcia with the way this year's been going.
Bike's getting better?
Yeah, whatever. Sure.
Justin Cooper 6th. Still fast as fucking practice.
J. Coop is
I still cannot believe every practice now you look up and it's like Jet and 3-star Yamahas. And then Jet and 3-star Yamahas. Every week.
Yeah, man. J. Coop, he doesn't have the sprint speed right off the bat, and it would show in practice because usually he gets that fast lap in the second practice, starts to build, get some line selection figured out, gets his bike dialed in, which is why I keep harping on this. I think he's going to be really damn good outdoors, man.
We'll see.
Because in these mains, man, he just keeps building and building, and he's just solid across the board. And
by the end of Moto 2, he's going to be practically running with Jet.
Fucking something, dude.
Might be within 5 seconds.
It's wild.
Which would be crazy.
It is wild because, I mean,
the only person to do that's Ken Roxon.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
So anyway, Hunter 7th after
being on the ground.
Out.
Apparently,
yeah, I guess
not bad.
Okay, Benny 8th.
Benny's been good.
Benny's been quietly good here.
Benny's been good. They're not going outdoors though.
It's weird.
Yeah, weird how you're trying to develop the bike, but you're not going to go racing outdoors.
What do you think Colt Nichols is thinking right now?
I think Colt Nichols wants to retire.
Maybe. Malcolm 9th. You got anything about him?
He won't be racing outdoors.
He was fast in that heat race.
Whatever, man. Heat race.
I thought maybe heat race Mookie was going to show up there.
We've seen heat race Mookie one time this year,
yeah.
And whatever. Like, I hate to say this, man, but Malcolm.
Has he announced he's not going outdoors, or we're just still under the assumption he doesn't want to ride outdoors? So.
I think we're all under the assumption. There's been but like, let's be real. He's going to have an injury like 2 weeks or a week before Fox Raceway.
All right, cool. Like at the Stopwatch Nationals.
Yeah, maybe he fakes an injury at the Stopwatch Nationals because you know what's going to happen. He's going to go out there, put a heater in, he's going to be 6 seconds a lap slower than everybody else, and he's like, "This is why I don't do outdoors."
Vince Freeze 10th. Okay,
that's weird. I mean,
were you nervous where he lined up in the main there between Coop and Jet?
Yeah, I was just kind of hoping Vince don't fuck this up.
Maybe he's going to bounce between the two of them.
It'd have been great if they just both ended up on the ground looking up and Vince is just like, fuckers.
And Eli just wins his title.
That'd be great, but Vince, whatever, man. Like,
yep.
I'm really curious what he's gonna do this summer, man. Especially with the whole WSX thing going.
I don't know.
Maybe I'll go back up to Canada.
Dino show back up and raced 11th. Show back up right where he left off. Just
that's just
sat to the
Dino, man.
spot.
That's just Dino. Well, and he's only got 3 more of these races. And
Yep.
he's pretty much shoo,
And Justin Hill showed up, get 12th.
back through the LCQ. I don't
through the
care.
LCQ.
Whatever. I don't really care.
Shade is 13th. You got anything about him?
Has there been any announcement that him and Chiz are going outdoors?
I'm not sure. I assume they are.
I hope so. I mean, Shane's been actually fairly decent this season.
I assume that they're going outdoors since they're not doing
WSX.
WSX, but
Shane's been pretty solid
then
this year, man.
What's Kenny doing?
I hope he
And-
just shows up at select rounds. I don't need him racing the whole summer.
Yeah.
Shane's been good though. Shane's been
Yeah.
sneaky. I mean, he's got, I'm not going to call it that mud race like he did.
Dude, he's got 4th place speed, bro.
But whatever. But I mean, dude, he's hovered around like 10 to 12 a few rounds.
Yeah.
Like, I know his normal finishing spots like 12 to 15. But I mean, if you would have asked me at the beginning of the year where Shane was going to go, I'd be like, well, he's been like 18th to 20th. So
Yeah.
I think he's been sneaky good.
Yeah. AC 14th.
I was really hoping he was going to win that heat race.
Me too.
I was just thinking, I'd be
He
like,
is
Hunter, just pass him and then
so-
check up.
He is so excited just to be out there. Did you see him in practice? Did you watch qualifying?
Yeah.
The second one there?
Yeah, when
as he's going over the triple on the
He
first
just
lap,
fist bump.
fist pumping the fans.
Yeah, man. He is going to be one of those dudes that is going to be awesome to watch him now that we know he's retired.
Yeah.
His retirement shit. I really hope he keeps up with the video content. I know he's going to keep up with his podcast, but I never was really one to watch his vlogs. I hope they go that because now he can actually just lock in and not really have any pressure. Because, dude, he's going to be really fun to watch in this next part of his this next chapter of his career or his life, whatever you want to call it.
Yep. Oldenburg 15th.
Whatever.
Chiz 16th.
Okay.
Freddie 17th. Grant Harlan 18th.
Oh man, I didn't really realize how bad that recovery on that hip was.
Terrible.
Jeez, dude. I didn't realize that he hadn't even ridden because I check his Instagram every now and then just because I like the kid, but I didn't realize A1 he wasn't even on a bike yet.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah, it's been a long road for him.
yeah he's building. I mean, I think he's only made a few mains this year. I will say though, I think that there was a few people, Mitchell being including in one of them, that went down in the LCQ. That had some bad luck. I think that LCQ would have looked a little bit different, but not taking anything away from Harlan. Obviously, we know he's a top 15 dude when he's healthy. He proved that a lot last year. And I hope he can continue to be healthy because he was, everybody put the onus on Masterpool last year, but I mean, dude, Harlan was right there as far as privateers.
Oh, yeah.
a true privateer that was putting in work. So
Gizmo mods.
Gizmo mods, whatever.
Jeremy Hand 19th.
Just making mains, bro.
Josh Hill randomly shows up, gets 20th.
Don't care.
Ken Roxon 21st.
Hurt his Achilles.
You heard what?
Somebody was saying his Achilles is
I think it's
fucked
his knee.
Oh,
I
wow.
just saw a picture of his knee. His knee is fucking the size of a
up.
bowling
Wow.
ball.
He's definitely probably not going to race the last 3 rounds.
That was the weirdest shit I've ever seen in my life.
That's what happens when you blow all the shock fluid out.
That was the weirdest shit I've ever seen in my life.
He actually got really fucking lucky
He did.
because that could have been a lot worse.
It could have. That was... Never seen a shock blowout like that.
I've never seen one blow out in a Supercross race. I've seen plenty of them blow out everywhere else.
In a
At
pro
the-
race?
Outdoors.
But pro.
Yes. Not like factory dudes.
Okay.
Privateers. It's very rare that a shock blows out on a factory bike.
Yeah.
Definitely more so on privateers.
Yeah.
But that's only because they're just not servicing their shocks. That was weird though, man. That was definitely all system malfunction. Because that is not a normal thing in any situation for the shock fluid to blow out.
No.
And then I don't know. That
And
was
then just how about the worst spot of going into the whoops and it's just a pogo stick? Anything else he could have. Well, then again, I don't know what a jump would have been like either. But
it would have hucked him to the moon.
yeah,
It have hucked him to the fucking moon.
I mean,
Especially if it had blow out right on unload as it's leaving the face. That would have been.
that was terrible.
Yeah, that's a real bummer, man, because I don't see him running the last 3 rounds. Man, he was on it.
Maybe, I don't know.
If I'm him, I'm like, no.
Does he change bikes next year?
I mean, dude, why would you, though? That's one instance that he's had issues with that Suzuki. Unless he gets a contract. Okay, So since the only other person we have left is the defending champ,
Which we'll talk about in a
which we'll
second.
talk about. Let's talk about Kenny for a second and just bounce off of that. First off, why would he, and I'm asking you this, because since you posed that question, why would he change teams? Just because of the fact of where he is in his career. He's proven that bike is good. He's won on that bike. He's led races. I don't know how much
Stalled it in the heat.
he did. But where's he okay, so where's he going to go, though? Like,
I don't know.
where would he go?
I'm not sure.
Because a lot of people, I mean, dude, the only other team that's even
He didn't like the club bike, right?
No, he did not. And I don't think he would fit on a Yamaha.
Okay.
Just for some of the shit that we were talking about with
Okay.
bike
All right.
setup.
Okay.
The only other thing, and this is a long shot too, and this is only us banking off the fact that Ando's going to say, I don't want to go racing, is Cowie. But I can't see him being teammates with Prado because he wouldn't be the sole focus. And not to say Kenny's a diva, but Kenny's a little bit of a diva. You know he wouldn't be the sole focus if he went to Cowie. No. And do you really see, even at this point in his career, being that he shows still he can win races and lead, that he doesn't want to be the sole focus?
I don't know.
Because it would also be the first time in his career that he would not be the sole focus.
I don't know.
Because even dating back to those days when he was first went pro in the GPs, when he was at Tekka Suzuki, he's the number one guy. Then he moves over to KTM, still the number one guy, even with Marv there, and even with Hurlings.
It's a weird spot.
I
It's
can't.
a really weird spot. I don't know.
Could it happen? For sure. I just starting to run down the line. Where the fuck is he going to go?
I just think that with WSX not being a thing anymore, his tie to that team, I think, is a lot.
Ducati's the only other one, and obviously we've talked about this, but
Yeah.
they're not coming for another,
Year, yeah. I don't know.
because he ain't sitting out all of 2025.
No. So I don't know. Interesting.
I mean, it would be interesting, but man, why would you go to another team for a year, go through the learning curve and the struggles that would be for the year, just to know that more than likely you might end up at Ducati a year later?
I wonder how much longer he's going to go. Because he's, what, 30?
No, 29. I mean, he's going to be 30 next year.
Okay. Yeah, I just...
Dude, I don't think he's going to go through much longer, man. Kenny's made so much money.
Yeah. All right, and then 20 seconds, Chase Sexton.
Rocket throttle body, apparently.
Rock into the throttle. No, throttle tube.
Throttle tube, sorry.
Broke it wide open.
Yeah.
Weirdest thing I've seen in a long time. Weirdest.
Dude.
Outside of the shock.
And he was, and man,
for
he
Kenny.
was, and I think he was actually going to have a pretty decent main. Honestly, you want to talk about like Ando catch and Coop? I think there was a real possibility that Sexton would end up on the box.
Yeah.
Because I mean, dude, he's been struggling hardcore in qualifying because I still think that they're searching
Yes.
for a setting, and we go to qualifying, and he just fucking throws his hands up in the air because I don't think he even knows what works anymore. I think he's done probably so much testing that he doesn't know fucking right from left.
Probably.
And then we go into heat races, and he builds, and we've seen this the last couple rounds now. Seattle, St. Louis, whatever, like East Rutherford or Foxborough, whatever the fuck we're calling it. And he's building. He starts to put on it. He starts, loosen up, gets everything clicking in the heat races, the end of the heat races, and then by the main, like he's been there. I think that whatever they're doing, he's going in the right direction. The problem is that I think he starts off the weekend so ass backwards that by the time they get it figured out, it's too late. Now we go to outdoors. If first moto is not a struggle bus, maybe that's a good thing because by the time the second motos come around, maybe he's got his shit together. But dude, I don't know, man. Because like if you haven't know, it's been we've been dealing with this with Sexton even since back to Indy.
Yeah.
Like he is not good at the beginning of the day.
No.
He is terrible. And he
Yeah.
comes out of nowhere half the time. And it's like, that proves, though, that they're testing.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're testing. They should be testing that rear end because that thing is terrible.
Look, here's the thing, man. It just harpers back to that comment made by Darren Lawrence of the people before us didn't know how to develop a bike, which is
And a lot
Chase
of people don't.
Sexton and his dad.
And a lot of people don't know how to develop bikes.
I'm super interested to listen to. I guess Mathis did a podcast with Kier this week. So I'm super interested for that to come up and listen to that and see what Kier has to say.
So
Because Sexton's been pretty open about struggling with the bike here, obviously.
I'll ask you a question.
Yeah.
And I think we've asked this quite a few times, but why not? Let's say we go to outdoors. A little bit of the same thing he did last year. Gets second to Jet a lot, challenges him a couple times, has the speed to win, but doesn't. So it was a 2-year contract, right?
I think so.
Okay, 2 years. What do you think Chase does if we get to the end of 2024 and he still feels the same way he did Well, actually, he wouldn't, because now apparently he's even said it, which we all kind of knew it. He said, yeah, man, I've sucked this year. Mm-hmm. Because he's definitely not even showed the outright speed at all that he had on the Honda. Because at least on the Honda, we knew at any given moment, if this was right, he actually could beat Jet because he was just as fast as Jet. It's just we knew this was not there.
Yep.
There's been no point at any of this year where I've gone, yeah, man, Chase could definitely beat Jet straight up.
Yep.
What do you think he does? That if we get to the end of 2024,
He's
and
going somewhere else for sure.
Where would he go, though?
I don't know. Don't care. He'll go somewhere else, though.
No, I agree with you. I'm just asking you, posing the question, where would you think he would go?
Star. I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know what that looks like.
Where would you like to see him go?
Well, we've got 2 other groups coming in, too, in the Triumph and the Ducati type thing, so...
Maybe he goes to Triumph.
I don't know what that looks like.
Bobby Hewitt would be a good person for him.
Club MX would probably be good, too.
Nah.
Even though he doesn't like that Yamaha.
No,
but-
I think the Triumph actually would be... I think Bobby Hewitt would be a good person for him to have on his side. And same thing with Steve Westfall.
Yeah, maybe.
Those are 2 pretty solid dudes. We obviously know the bike's good.
I don't know, man. But I'm telling you, if they go through next year struggling like this, too, he's not staying there.
No. I
He's
mean, dude,
not
because he's
staying
not going to waste his prime
he's-
years.
He's going to have to go somewhere where they can develop the bike for him, which is ironic that KTM can't with the amount of knowledge and everything that they have.
Things that we know, it's kind of like Cowie. They're stuck in their ways. They're either
Yeah.
either this bike's good, like we saw with Coop. Like they let Coop left. Fucking they didn't listen to Coop. And we've seen it with Cowie for a long time. Like there's teams out there that have been winning for so long at such a high level, and they have the same old way of thinking. And we saw it when Yamaha restructured their shit when they went away for a long time with the factory team and then giving the reins over to Star. Like, hey, man, we're going to get some fresh thinking in here. We respect you guys, but this is a new day and age. And some of the old way of thinking, they're just like, yeah, man, like, no, like this bike's good. You're going to ride what you're going to ride. And like, I don't know. I just don't want to see Chase's best years wasted, because if this continues to happen, and it happens this year, and then it happens again next year, now we're going to start falling to, we know Chase's biggest problem is upstairs. It's everything else is fine. It's upstairs. That it's going to get to a point where he's going to be overthinking everything and second guessing every move he makes, that even by the time he gets on a team that's perfect for him, he's not going to do shit. Because mentally, he's going to be so screwed up.
Look, man, there's a lot of hard looking in the mirror that needs to happen, I think, and not necessarily looking in the mirror at himself per se, but like you go through another year like this and it's like, okay, now we've struggled on that Honda in a sense with figuring that out. We've now struggled on this KTM. If we struggle on KTM for second year, you got to look in the mirror and you got to look at what's around you. And maybe it's time to trim some stuff.
I mean, we've seen this time and time again with a lot of different people over the years, that what happens when you do it.
Yep. And then maybe it would get better, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure. That's a whole nother bag of worms. I'd have to ask people what that's
and
like.
something we could talk about when we go into the off season.
Yeah.
Here's the other crazy thing though is, there's just one thing that would fix that. He just goes and gets a fucking win.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if he beats Jet at any point, it doesn't even have to be both motos. He just beats Jet at any point outdoors. All that talk goes away. That's the wild thing.
Yeah.
It just goes away. Because it's like, oh, all right, cool. I don't know. We know how accomplished Chase can be, and he's already accomplished a lot. I just don't want to see it wasted on some shit that has to do with the mental side of things. If it was an on-the-bike thing and it was a technique thing or a training program, fine. But if it's just a mental thing...
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So, all right. That's been your 450 race recap, brought to you by our friends at Gutter Worx. Always well hung, just like Cameron Sackadoo. Sackadoo. All right. Now we're going to jump into our Complete Racing Solutions halftime report. Again, make sure to check out Complete Racing Solutions for all your on and off the bike training needs there, nutrition, everything like that. Links in the description down below. Okay. Ferry and Triumph split.
Shocking.
You heard anything?
I heard one thing. I'm not sure it is. He is talking to another team. Who the fuck was it though? Oh God, no. Now I'm gonna blank. He is talking to another team, apparently. Now, who knows how correct that is. God, now I'm trying to figure out who it is. It's not a Yamaha team.
No, it's not. Let me tell you what. Oh, well.
He's burned the bridge with Yamaha.
Yeah.
Anything Yamaha related.
Have you heard what's going on with these teams as to why he's not there anymore? I'm not going to say it publicly.
No.
But I'll tell you after we get off.
It won't surprise me anything. I mean, I could almost guess. Shit. Who?
Take a guess.
What?
Take a guess.
Well, I've heard a lot has to do with his dad.
Yes. That's a
and
big
I also don't
part
think
of it.
I also don't think Evan
I'll tell you exactly what it is because I was told what it is.
I also don't think Evan wants to race.
That I'm not sure about. That I'm not 100% sure about.
Yeah.
But there's some things going on behind the scenes that I'm not going to publicly talk about until somebody else does. But
damn it! Now I literally talked to somebody about this earlier this week, and I cannot for the life of me.
Was it your source?
I don't need to tell you that.
No,
I'm seriously upset because I did hear a team that he is talking to, but I don't think it's. Fuck, I'll probably think of it at some point.
Partzilla, Mad Parts.
That's who you've heard?
No, I don't.
Oh
no, I haven't heard anything.
Oh no. I heard he is
anything.
talking to a team. It's obviously not a Yamaha team.
I knew this was coming.
Oh, for sure, we all did.
None of
he
this
didn't show
shocked
up.
me.
He
Yeah,
didn't show up to the races. I mean, granted that injury, what happened to him, whatever out of his control.
We'd all heard last week.
Who? Give me some time and I'll think about it. I'm trying to go back, but yeah, I mean, dude, it's not a shock.
Just talk about a flop. You want to talk about a flop?
Well, him and Jet Reynolds are in the same boat.
They probably should have won 2 titles.
Probably should have won 3. Well, at that point, man, you put 4.
Yeah. So, but okay. But bringing up Jet Reynolds too, we can get into this. So the next thing I have on here is silly season stuff. Have you been hearing anything about Marchbanks?
That I have not.
I've heard he has some opportunities.
250 or 450?
That I'm not sure. But for some different teams, factory level teams.
I mean, we all heard a couple of years, or what was it, 2 years ago, that he had been testing with some different teams.
This sounds more solid. Like he's going to go somewhere else next year, which will be interesting to see.
Which is wild because that club bike's pretty damn good.
Do you want to know? So I guess, so this is funny because this whole silly season thing is interesting when it comes to the Club MX team. So Club MX, from my understanding, was approached by another manufacturer last year.
Yeah.
And given a very hefty offer. And Yamaha stepped up to keep them as a Yamaha team because they are basically the support team underneath of Star, correct?
Yep.
But here's the thing. Now when you start thinking about it, okay, J-Mart's going to retire after this year.
And honestly, man, I'll be really surprised if he rides outdoors.
So J-Mart's going to retire.
Cody Schock just got a new deal.
Phil's going to retire.
Yep.
Marchbanks possibly moving. That's 3 dudes off that team. So
Cody Schock's got a new deal.
Left? Cody
and
Schock
Jet Reynolds.
And Jet Reynolds.
And Jet Reynolds is probably.
So now they got to find some more people.
I mean, dude, there's a lot. I think there's a lot of guys out there though that would love to ride that bike, 250 or 450.
Yeah.
Because now it's actually proven. I mean, J Mart, he's been the only one that would really struggle with it. Nicoletti's been up front. He's led heat races. Marchbanks has led heat races. He's led mains. That 450, he's been top 5 at certain points outdoors and motos. Cody Schock's been up front. Cody Schock has won heat races. Obviously, Enzo, we saw what he did last year, leading heat races, leading mains. Like, the bike is good. The bike is not... It's not the bike anymore.
No.
Like, the team's solid. They're getting the support. The bike is good. They got a good engine development. The chassis is good. J-Mart is the only one that really struggled with it, but I think it's because he just came off of being on factory bikes for so long. It's like, hey, man, like, I got to put a little bit of work. Not that he doesn't, but whatever. So I think there's a lot of dudes that, like, you put them on a club bike, they do pretty damn well. I mean, there's a lot of guys that you could look at if they get bounced from a team, go to club.
Yeah.
Go to club, man. Like, it can help your career.
I think more of these teams need these factory supported teams like
well,
this.
Dude, Honda was supposed to have this with Firepower in Phoenix.
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, I think they all should, because then you just have essentially a slot or a feeder system, and this goes back to last week when I was fixing the sport. Then you have a feeder team that feeds into your main team.
Yeah.
So then someone gets hurt, you just bump them up from that team to the other team, and then you bump some privateer or something onto the factory supported teams like this. Like, this is simple to me. I don't understand why we don't do it.
I mean, once again, I know that we always bring this up, but it's a great example. Like Formula One does it with all their teams. Like Red Bull, dude. Red Bull has freaking the RB team.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
okay, so what would we have? So Triumph, obviously, at some point here. Suzuki, Honda, Kawasaki, Yamaha, Husky, KTM,
Beta,
Gas.
Beta.
I'm not counting Beta yet. Yeah. So you have 8 teams.
Yep.
So if they all had a secondary team and you had just two guys, 2 guys per team, per bike class or whatever, I mean, right there you've got 32 people.
And honestly, man, I think a lot of these factory teams that are putting money into these, and we'll just go with the most recent example, Casey Cochran, put them on your satellite team beforehand.
We'll get to Cochran.
Because, dude, that once again, that's what they do in Formula One. Like, you have to go through the Formula 2 or Formula 3 or Formula E series.
Yep.
You have to go test, drive for this team. That's what Max Verstappen did. Like, that's what every one of them did. Daniel Ricciardo, Yuki Tsunoda, Zhou and you, all of them. Prove yourself with our, I don't want to say underling team, but our development team, our supported team. And then when you go out and prove you can actually, with a little bit less stress on you and a little bit less of a bike, then you get bumped up to the factory team. And a lot of these kids wouldn't fucking burn out.
Yep.
A lot of these kids' careers were not, because I'm here to tell you, Cochran's career is going to be over before it even started.
Yeah, there's no way he's back next year.
And we've seen it. Talon Hawkins. Luckily, he landed on a team.
Yeah.
And we saw it a lot over at TLD when it was before it was Gas, when it was KTM. Mitchell Falk, Sean Cantrell. Thankfully, Derek Drake has rejuvenated his career, but now he's been out for a while.
Yeah.
All these different teams. Justin Heft. All these kids.
But this is the thing, is where it's like, okay, sweet. So you should have, obviously, Star is the full factory team. You should have your 2 450, your 2 250 guys. You can do 2 250 guys per coast, whatever you want to do, right? And then you should go to Club, and Club should have 2 450, 2 250 guys. Yep. PC should have 2 450 guys.
Yep.
And they should be the underling for Kawasaki. Yep. Kawasaki should have the 2 main dudes for the 250 and the 2 main dudes for the 450.
I mean, back in the day,
should
dude,
do the same thing, and this is just the way it should be.
I mean, dude, and back in the day, like, it pretty much, that's how it worked. Like, you rode for Mitch's team, and when you went to the 450 class, you pretty much went to Factory Cowie.
Yep. That's that's just the way it should be. Because then, like I said, then it works just like Formula One. There, like you said, of like, okay, cool, somebody gets hurt. You know, Tomac goes down. He can't race his Star Yamaha. Sweet. We just bump up whoever, Justin Cooper, who would be on the on the Club MX team. Sweet, no problem.
Yeah.
They get a small salary on that team. You get your big salary when you get to the big team. Like, this is simple to me.
And dude, we saw it enough too. Same thing with Geico Honda back in the day. Like when Trey and Will and all those dudes, they dabbled on the other coast, bumped up to the 450. And Shorty did it way back in the day. Tommy Hahn, when Honda still had when they first had their factory 250 squad.
Yep.
Like everybody, like, hey man, like, you're riding for the team. Somebody got hurt on the 450 this weekend. You want to ride the 450 this weekend? Go up and do it. Davey did it a lot, and Davey, like,
it's all there to be in place.
We had it.
I mean, you have AJE with the gas team. Okay, cool. They can support TLD.
AEO with KTM.
Is there a Husky team? Is that the only one we don't have?
No, there's not a Husky team.
So we got to figure out a Husky team.
I'm pretty sure that'd be easy at this point.
Super simple. Even what's it called? Suzuki has it though. I mean, you have HEP, and then you have BarX as the development team. Yep. Okay, cool, no problem. So it's all there. It's all there. And
the BarX team is actually doing pretty well this year with Anthony Borden.
Yeah, so it's like, it's all there. Like, the infrastructure is all there. Like, dude, just run it.
Yeah.
Just run it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We got to figure something out. But yeah, if all that happens to Club, like, there's a lot of dudes. You know what? Put Henry Miller on one of those Club 250Fs.
Dude, there you go. All right. Holsterco reload rant.
Okay, what's your rant?
Okay. First 250 heat.
Okay.
Marchbanks goes down in that first rhythm.
Yep. Okay.
They come around the first lap.
Mm-hmm.
What flag was out?
Shit, I don't even remember.
A yellow flag.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a guy laying in the jumps with medics around him, and we have a yellow flag. 2 weeks ago, whatever the fuck it was, in St. Louis, we have a guy whose bike dies in the middle of the finish line jump, which everyone jumps.
Yep.
No one rolls it.
Yep.
And he's not even in the middle. He's way off to the side middle. And we have a red cross flag out? The fuck are we doing? What the fuck?
I know.
I mean, dude, it's the most ridiculous. I'm watching that last night. I'm like, this is a goddamn joke. This is a goddamn joke. There is a man laying in the middle of some jumps with multiple men around him to help him, and we've got a yellow fucking flag. This dude's fully conscious, able to move, trying to push his bike off the edge, which he was, and we're throwing a red cross flag for 3 fucking laps?
I know.
Go figure it out.
It's not hard.
Figure it the fuck out.
It's not hard.
This is not tricky at all.
It's not hard.
It's not tricky at all. On a jump that everybody jumps. Red cross, don't jump the roll through there because he's down there, so let's make sure you try to hit him.
Mm-hmm.
This one, hey, this dude's really, really effing hurt. So much so we had to red flag the race. But hey, it's cool, man. You want a 3 in? No problem. Handle it.
Just go to the left.
Do it.
Just go to the
Just
left.
make sure you're left.
Just go to the left. Yep.
Because there's a man here who cannot move. Go left.
Just go left.
Stupidest fucking thing
I
ever.
know.
Holster Co. Reload rant.
No, it's pretty good rant.
I told you it pertained to the thing. Dude, I mean, I'm livid. I would love to just yell and scream more, but I'm going to say things about people that I shouldn't, and then people are going to get upset. People take things way too personally. It was the dumbest fucking thing I've seen. So
my thing...
Okay, go ahead.
It's not... I mean, we've all talked about it.
Holster Co. Reload rant.
Yeah. So my thing is... And it's definitely not as important as that one, but we're talking about the media in this industry. We all like to talk about everybody's not, super secretive, transparent. We got no fucking buddy knows how to do their job.
MotoOnline.com. MotocrossNowBlog.com.
Greatdrop.com. Actually, I like Gate Drop's interviews, even though everybody says he's a dumbass.
Motocrossblog.com.
Yeah, motocrossblog.com.
I don't know. Some of the names I hear in the press conference,
just
I'm
motocross.
like, what the fuck is wrong?
Cameron McAdoo.
Oh, boy.
Logan Leitzel. Cameron McAdoo goes down because of Logan Leitzel.
Okay.
Lands on his shoulder.
Yes.
Last practice.
Yes.
We see Cam roll off the track. We can clearly tell his shoulder's bum. He's favoring it, whatever. He goes back to the truck. We know Cameron has more balls than brains.
Yep.
Figuratively and literally.
Literally.
He's not going to give up. So we know that...
Fucking baby arm down there.
It's getting close to the end of the session, but that's got to be serious for Cam to, pull out with like a minute. Sorry, guys.
Sure, he's pulling
a
out.
minute, maybe a minute and 30 to go in the final time session. They go on Racer X, Twitter, whatever the fuck it's called. Cameron McAdoo went down hard with Logan Leitzel. So I don't really know. Me personally, I don't. Even the people that I know that know things, they don't really know Cameron. I don't have any pull on that one. I'm like, I can't get a hold of anybody that has any information on Cameron McAdoo to be able to give me anything. Because obviously I'm interested. Like East-West Shootout. Titles on the line, points, big deal. I just want to know, is Cameron going to race tonight? And I know people will be like, well, you just wait. Well, I don't want to wait that long. Why the fuck didn't we have anything in between the session, the night show, and practice? Yeah, Cameron, like anything. And I know that people are like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's a pretty big fucking deal when your points leader goes out with a bum shoulder and we can't have anybody within, what? Isn't it like close to 3 hours between the last?
2.5.
2.5, okay. 2.5 hours.
That's impossible.
Nothing. No, I get even 6 o'clock rolls around, 6:30. I'm waiting for the race. I'm doing something. I get on there. I'm like, maybe I'll see nothing. Searching around, nothing. No. We don't fucking know.
You know why?
Why?
Mathis wasn't there.
Still.
Yeah, I mean, love him or hate him, he would have gone to the truck and found out.
Well, either way. Well, that makes more of my point. Fucking Steve Mathis is the only person that can get information out of people. Are you kidding me? I'm just like, dude. I know that this is not that big of a deal, but it really just shows, you talk about the flag, that's obviously more of a serious situation, but still, we just talk about how stupid the shit is in our sport.
Yep.
Dude, if that had been NFL, and I'll just do for a name that everybody knows, Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham gets hurt.
Yeah.
We'd have known before kickoff if Odell Beckham was playing or not.
Hey, I just want to let you know, as far as Pro Circuit goes, which is a professional team, by the way,
yeah.
with a media relations person. Took 2.5 months for them to acknowledge that I had seen pictures and videos of Max Volan laying on top of a jump with a fucked up hip.
No, I know. It's just, dude, we just talk about this all the time.
This is the dumb shit that happens in our fucking sport.
This is why we will never be. This is why we will never be considered an elite sport or taken serious because of stupid shit like this. Like, dude, just say, yeah, man, like Max, like he's favoring the shoulder a little bit. We don't know if he's going to race or not. Cool. That's all I need to know. Mm-hmm. But you can't.
What does your media relations person do all fucking day during the race?
Nothing.
Apparently
sits on
nothing.
TikTok and just fucking looks at naked chicks.
Because we should have, definitely had a tweet of
just something.
20 minutes after that of went down hard in practice, shoulders sore, gonna try to gut it out.
But no, we can't. We can't find out until we go live 5 minutes before the first gate drop.
Now, there he is.
Yeah, we just. There he is. Mm-hmm. Cool. And I know people will be like, "Well, yeah, that's not that big of a deal." My point is, it's not a big deal to me. It just shows that how stupid this shit is.
It's a big deal.
It's like, what the fuck? This is why we will never be considered a serious sport. Mm-hmm. Because nobody wants to. We don't take ourselves serious. It's just dumb, dude. It's just dumb.
I mean, that media relations person probably gets paid more a year than I do.
Oh, yeah, for doing nothing. Mm-hmm. Just hanging out on TikTok.
I would love to have that job.
Yeah, me too.
I'll go to the races on the weekend, be a media relations person. No problem. For any team.
Kawasaki's are awesome. Send.
Does matter.
So fucking stupid.
All right. Those have been your Holster Co. Reload rants.
Yep.
Anything else? For the halftime report?
No.
Anything off the...
Bummer. Well, we kind of touched on it. Bummer to see Phil retire, but we kind of all... I mean, dude.
Yeah, we could talk about that. I do have that here. So, Coach brought up a great point on the show on Friday with him and Hopper. Mm-hmm. So, you got Phil retiring. Mm-hmm. You got AC retiring. Mm-hmm. Why are we so enthralled with those guys?
With Phil and AC? Mm-hmm. Do you want, like, why? I like Phil more than... I don't have anything against AC, but, like...
Either or, but why are...
Phil, I think because and
these are not champions.
No,
by the way.
Well, AC is a one-time champion.
Whatever. They're not legend champions.
I'll give you why I think people are.
Okay.
And this is just my opinion. Phil and Weege says this a lot. The shit that we were just talking about, nobody's transparent. In a sea of stupidity and asshats that don't like to actually tell the truth, Phil's very honest. Mm-hmm. And I think for guys like you and me and Coach and some of these other people that actually care about the sport, that's a breath of fresh air.
It's because personality.
It's great. Because Phil actually will tell you straight to your face how it is, whether you like it or not. But the difference is he's not doing it to be an asshole. He genuinely actually cares what he's saying to you, which I think a lot of people get wrong. I think that when Phil's honest with people are like, Phil's an asshole. Phil's not being an asshole.
Phil's not an asshole.
He's doing it because he actually cares. If he didn't care about you, he probably wouldn't even say anything to you. As far as AC goes, I think a lot of it has to do with because...
It's personality.
Well, that is a big part, but we've all seen AC grow up.
Yeah, that's true too. He was the first, he was that first generation, what do you want to call it? Instagram people.
Yep. And here's the thing, it's going to happen no matter what this person does. Same thing's going to happen with Hayden Deegan.
Yep.
When Hayden Deegan decides to retire, and hopefully it's 10, 15 years from now.
What does he have also?
Social media following.
Personality.
He does.
And this is a huge thing. Because here's the thing, okay? And when Coach brought this up, it really made me think, and I went, man, this is so true. Phil's got great personality.
He does.
He shows his personality. He's not scared to. Okay, awesome. Everybody loves him for that.
Yep.
Everybody loves him for that.
Sure.
AC, great personality. Everybody loves him for that. Again, these guys are not champions. And it really made me think, okay, Eli Tomac's going to retire, and everybody's kind of pumped up on him or whatever now, but it ain't the personality. It's because the dude's a legend, okay?
Look at RV.
But when he retires, yeah, it's going to be a legendary thing. Well, RV's the same way. We
didn't find out personality till after the fact.
RV was a legend, and now he's got the personality. Everybody's like, yeah, RV's
but it took
sick.
him a year.
It took him several years there before he started coming out and doing all this stuff, right? Where I don't think we're going to get that out of Eli. Eli's going to retire.
Oh, yeah, he's going to go off.
And he's going to be remembered as a legend, but you give it a year or two, and no one will care. Everyone will still be talking about, in a year or two, AC and Phil.
Yeah.
You know, because they're still going to be around, obviously, you know, whatever.
AC's going to continue to ride.
But it's going to be, man, do you remember AC doing this or AC doing that, whatever, or like Phil, Phil, I mean, dude, fuck Phil, whatever.
I will remember Phil. It has nothing to do. He wasn't even professional. It was a regional. I don't even remember where the hell we were. Where when he was still riding Hondas back in 2005, he smacked a tree, bounced off a tree, literally bounced off the tree because he hit it so hard.
Yeah.
And got up and finished the race, and then went 1-1-1 the next three motos.
Wow.
After he smoked a tree. That is the first time I ever had an interaction with Phil. That was 2005.
Interesting.
I will remember him more for that than anything else.
Interesting.
But because of the fact of, Jesus, Phil's just a badass. Straight up badass.
Yep. So, and this is something that Coach brought up of like, these kids need to look at coming up now. You need a personality to put out there. Look at AP. AP is the same way. When AP leaves, retires, whatever, we're all going to be like, man, that guy was awesome.
Nobody probably will even remember the 2 championships that he won the same freaking
No.
year. Will remember, man, he was like Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yep. So, prime examples here going out of personalities. Kenny's another one. I mean, yes, he was fast and he won a couple outdoor championships and stuff like that. But he had a pretty decent personality too, which everybody liked and everybody locked in on. So
The only way we will remember Eli, and he's not going to do this because he doesn't live in Southern California, is if he goes the route of RV where he takes a year to be away from racing. And we talked about this last year.
yeah.
Eli may continue to ride, but he's not going to be in the social media eye. He's going to go off in the mountains. He's going to hang out on his ranch.
Yeah.
He'll probably continue to ride because I do genuinely believe he loves to ride. But the only reason RV's even been in the spotlight is because he still lives in Southern California. Like, Eli's not going to go live in California. He didn't even trade in California when he was racing.
Yep. Nope. So, and I guess, okay, the only other thing I have here for the halftime report, AP re-upped for next year with
cool.
KTM,
Yep.
which we kind of called
I mean,
that he was going to stay at KTM. So,
Look, they're going to need it when Chase leaves.
yeah, but that's cool that he's still there. So,
I mean, dude,
for another year.
He was having a great year until he got hurt.
Yep.
I mean, and this is a bummer because now we're back at square one. Every time he seems to get a little bit of momentum,
I think
hurt.
I think he'll be okay. So,
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I think he's going to be good. And I mean, we all seen that because it's like, well, outside of when Tom moves up, who were your options anyway? So,
yeah, exactly. So, all right. So that's been your Complete Racing Solutions halftime report. Make sure to check them out. Link in the description down below. Coach Rob Podcast, Complete Racing Solutions, Complete Health Solutions, all the stuff. Coach Rob's
All the
doing all the
solutions.
stuff. All right. And now our final section here for the show for Nashville. We have our 250 race recap brought to you by our friends at 50 Grafx. For all your custom graphics needs, make sure to check them out. Link in the description down below with the discount code for like 10 or 15% off. So make sure to check them out. 250 race was chaos.
Chaos from Jump Street, bro.
Chaos from
actually
Jump Street.
all the way through the heat races.
Yeah,
The LCQ was actually the only one that probably didn't have any chaos.
Yeah, LCQ was boring. All right, so RJ gets the win.
I mean, dude, RJ doing RJ things.
RJ doing RJ things. I mean, this was an RJ day. We got in the
Fast as fuck in practice.
really fast.
9/10 faster than
really
Levi.
fast. So, yeah.
I mean, dude, he made,
I don't
the
know
last
what
two
to
rounds
say.
interesting.
This is what RJ does, man. And he's got the points lead now.
3 points? 3 points?
2.
2?
Yes.
Made the last 2 rounds interesting because let's be real, if Levi would have won last night, fucking
Well,
Denver and Salt Lake would have not mattered.
And now they got to sit around next week because we're going to Philly.
Yeah, I know. Gonna be wild, man. Gonna be wild. Yeah.
Here's the thing. RJ will saw off your front end win this title, man.
He tried to saw off Jet's front end and it wasn't even for first last year.
So Levi,
Levi, bro, if it's like if you don't win in Denver, if you win in Denver and RJ gets second, bro, Salt Lake, I'd just be like, man, I'm just gonna get points.
look, with RJ, it's still the same thing though. Till that checker flag flies, I'm out on him being just the
How crazy
guy.
would it be though if he did win this title?
Oh, dude, be wild.
I mean, I'd
be wild.
I got nothing against RJ. It'd be cool to see him get a title before he moves up to the 450 and just becomes another guy.
Yeah.
But I still want Levi to win this title.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting because here's the thing. Levi, I don't know if anybody would debate this. If he yanks a holy, he's going to walk away from these dudes. He's done it too many weekends in a row. But if he doesn't, RJ's that one dude that you do not want to have confidence.
Nope.
And he's got the points lead, and there's 2 rounds to go. If this would have been 5 rounds ago, I'd have been like, just wait.
Did you ride the 450 outdoors?
No, because they don't have another guy. Cochran's their only other dude. Guillaume Ferez is not Cochran.
Yeah.
Because Guillaume's not coming back.
Oh, okay.
So they're gonna. You really think they're not
No.
laying it all on Cochran's shoulders? Although I think it'd be smart to just get RJ on the 450 now.
Yeah.
But no, I think maybe if the season's not going well, maybe. But I don't think so. But Husky doesn't give a shit. So
Yeah, Husky doesn't give a fuck
But here's the thing.
about nothing.
I don't give a shit. Here's the thing, though. You don't want him to have confidence, man, because like you
No.
said, he will saw off your front end. And the crazy thing is he's not even really doing it out of malicious intent. He just wants to fucking win.
Yep.
Those last 2 rounds are gonna be wild, man. Because even if Levi wins in Denver, I'm gonna go into Salt Lake being like, shit, I don't know. I don't really know.
I don't either.
I don't really, right? Like, you just don't know.
No.
Because of the fact that RJ will do that.
It's quite ironic here that we went from having points titles that we thought were pretty well handled to now they're kind of all up in the air, except for maybe East.
East, I think, is not up in the air.
East is probably the least likely to change hands, but
this one
West
is
in 450s. It's like,
I think though 250 West is like, I think we're in for fireworks the next 2 rounds.
Oh, I think so too.
Just because of and I've already said this a million times, RJ will ride you aggressive.
God, I hope RJ doesn't do RJ things.
I want Levi to win this title so damn bad. But part of me just kind of, because I've seen RJ go through the struggles, it kind of would just be nice to see him.
Poetic justice,
It would be. It would be really nice to see him get a title before he goes up to the 450 class. Yeah. Because once he goes to the 450, he's never winning again.
Yep.
So, but dude, just, like you said, RJ Day, just weird, fast as shit in practice. Like, when I looked up at the board and he was 9/10 faster, I was like, the fuck did he find 9/10?
That wasn't as surprising as Tom Vial.
No.
Vial being like almost 2 seconds faster.
No, it was great though. I was loving it. I was like, yeah. But no, man, good for RJ, bro, because he was just on it. Like, in a day that everybody was all over the place, RJ was oddly...
we really thought we had this pinpointed as to what the hell was going to go on in a sense.
I know.
This is not anywhere near what I thought was going to go on.
This is just the
black
black cloud that is over PC.
Yeah.
That has been just hanging around since that Justin Hill title.
So anyway, so Shimoda gets second. Joe doing Joe things. Then didn't go to the press conference.
God, it's weird.
Which is weird. I don't know why that happened.
It's really fucking weird, and unfortunately, it's going to continue outdoors. Because I think the same shit's
Welcome to the Joe Schmoda Show.
Wait to the Joe Show. Welcome to the Joe Show.
The Schmoda realist is really on point with what Joe does, which
it's
is
just
not a lot
weird.
at the beginning of the year, and then at the end of the year, it's like, hey, here he is.
It's like he almost needs more rounds.
We had 27 Supercrosses.
We had 27 Supercrosses. Joe would have won every title. And we got 39 outdoor races. Joe would win a title.
I don't have anything really to say about Joe.
He was good.
We didn't really see him last night.
He was just kind of did Joe Schmoda things, man. He was just solid. Like, wasn't outright speed wasn't crazy. Didn't yank a holy. Wasn't super fast in practice.
No.
Just kind of. It really reminded me of 2022 PC Joe.
Yeah. So, Tom Vial third. Points leader.
I think he's got it in the bag.
13 points over Deegs.
I think he's got it in the bag, man.
Poor Deegs. Same amount down.
Yeah, no.
Moved up a spot. Same amount down as he came in.
I think he's got this in the bag.
He looks really good, dude.
And he definitely.
Bro, I sat there yesterday in the practice show and said, Vial, maybe like a top 5 tonight. And then I went, then he qualified fastest, and literally as he's doing it, I'm like, oh, I look really stupid already.
And then he yanks the whole shot in the heat race and just goes.
And then he went, and then he goes.
And he played the points game, man. And I don't know if it was Ricky or Weege that brought it up, but like he played the points game. Mm-hmm. Like he never was going to beat RJ, but I think he wasn't gaining time on Joe, and he's just kind of like, whatever. Like I know how to win titles. Look, man. This is, and we'll talk about Deegan when we get to him. This is not a knock on Deegan, but I stand by my comment that I said right afterwards in the group chat. Vial's got this in the bag, bro. Because I watched a little bit of your reaction show, and you're like, oh, if Deegan, here's the problem, because you said if Deegan wins and then Vial gets third, if McAdoo's not there,
I don't think
who's gonna? Yeah, because even we go into Salt Lake at 10. Vial's already just literally proved that he can get on the box in the East-West Showdown.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, man. Outside of anything crazy, I think Vial's got this in the bag. Which
Deez is gonna have to saw that front wheel off 2 rounds in a row.
And the problem with that is, it would be very blatant.
Oh yeah.
And then we're gonna have a whole different kind of issues because it's one thing like you go into the last round,
we're going into the danger zone.
You know what? Like you go in the last round points. You kind of just I pushed it a little too deep and I took his front end out.
I mean, Osborne just cleaned Savachi for a title, so
yeah, but you could go last lap, heat of the moment. Osborne and Joey were close in points. Deegan, outside of anything crazy, is going to go back in even if he wins in Philly, which obviously he can.
Yeah.
At most, he goes in 5 point, like less than 5, like he ends up 5 points. But I just don't see anybody getting in the middle of him and Vial.
Yeah.
So what? You got 8 points? Like it'd be so blatant at the last round. And then it'd be like, well, we knew what you were doing. Like we knew what you were doing.
Yeah, but that turns into a really rough thing too, because this was brought up years ago when we had the
bunching.
the Savachi, the Savachi and the Zacco thing. Because what happens is, okay, that's very blatant, but at the same time, if it does work out in points and he wins that title, you're gonna take that title away from that team. How's that gonna go? I mean,
if he takes him out where it's like, oh shit,
it would have to be.
But it would have to be, though. You'd have to put him on the ground, right?
What I mean by egregious is you're going to have to go in and hit him so hard you hurt him. And I'm not talking like you do the Zacco Savachi thing where you pull out his bike from underneath him and he just falls weird and gets hurt. I'm talking like you go in and your front wheel makes contact with his tip fib and breaks it type deal. And even at that, he's going to have to put him on the ground. He's going to have to put him on the ground. You're going to have the meetings with the AMA between the teams, and that I wouldn't want to be involved in that, because that would be.
Here's the thing too, and we all.
Here's the thing: you're going to strip it from. What are you going to do? You're going to strip it from him and give it to Vial then?
No,
that would be there
would have to be some type of punishment though, man. We can't just let that kind of.
Not that it's going to happen, and not that it's going to. I don't know, man. That would be such a weird situation. But again, too. If I'm trying to win title, man, like, look, here's my opportunity right now is to go up, make contact, and try to hopefully put you on the ground without hurting you, essentially. Bend your bike up, but not you.
Well, and also, I think that, and this is where I'm going to give Tom a little bit more credit, he's got 2 world titles to his name. He knows how to win titles. He knows how to win in pressure situations. If he's around Hayden at any point in this situation, he's just going to be like, oh, I'm going to move over.
But he's never been in the danger zone.
Well, what's he gonna do? Hayden's gonna let Hayden. I almost believe he would let Hayden pass him.
Where's my big spoon? I'm just stirring.
I almost believe he would let Hayden pass him.
I mean, I do too, but
because he's not gonna play that game because he knows what would happen. He's just gonna be like, dude, you want to win? Go win. Like you have to make up a lot of points to beat me. So, but yeah, man, like I truly believe. Look, this year has proven that anything can happen. But 13 down with 2 to go.
It's like an 80-20 right now.
I'll tell you this. Tom's not going to blow the title. That's not the way Deegan's going to... Like, if Deegan wins this title...
But poor Tom's going to be here and race 3 years of Supercross on 250 and then have to go to 450.
I mean, dude, if he has this good of a trajectory in Supercross and we know he's going to be solid outdoors, like, I'm really not that worried.
Hey, I mean, here's the thing.
You win a title in your second year of Supercross with a guy that literally actually never rode Supercross.
I want to talk about who's going to replace Sexton.
Tom Vial. And here's the thing, too. It's not that bad to a guy to replace your guy. I mean, Tom is kind of right now KTM's. This is not like I like Juju, but Tom is really KTM's only.
What's going on with that? I'm gonna have to do some digging.
Yeah, he's really only KTM's hope moving forward.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Jordan Smith gets 4th.
I mean, Jordan Smith night, man.
Jordan Smith
really fast.
Really fast, down.
Have you watched any of the videos that GoPro's done with him at the farm?
No.
You should watch the one. He did a 17-minute moto. It's earlier this week at the farm. It was him, Thrasher, Coop. I think it was Coop. It looked like Coop.
Supercross or outdoors?
Supercross. And then Dax. And he's just back there just grinding, just pressuring Dax. Gets around Dax, basically just, mentally screws Dax. Dax pulls off. Coop pulls off. Crazy thing is, man, fucking Thrasher's out front in all of them, even Coop, and he's pulling away from everyone. And I'm like,
welcome to the Nate Thrasher. Nate Thrasher could have won that race last night, and I'd have been like, yep.
I'm like, what? But just for the fact of, and we were talking about this, obviously, with the GoPro thing, the content that they have, because they do the whole star team at the farm. We've had a couple ones outdoors. Romano was outdoors. Smitty was outdoors. They had one of Dax on a 450 outdoors.
Romano had to clean his locker out after the race last night?
Dude, that wasn't it. You know what crazy? He was in that heat race. He was in 4th.
You think he had to clean out his locker?
No, man.
After the race?
No, they're not giving it up.
You don't think Bobby was just like, get your shit and get the fuck out?
No.
Oh, well, okay.
No, I don't think so. I think if he struggles outdoors for sure, but I don't think he's going to struggle outdoors. But great content. You should watch it. But yeah, Smitty.
I'll go check it out.
Smitty kind of night, man. Just really solid all day. I don't know.
Okay. Swole gets 5th.
Making that Triumph look real
good. Ride for that Triumph, too.
Yeah,
at least they got somebody to ride that bike.
Yeah. Who's going to be his teammate for outdoors out there? So then Joey is like, do you think it's just him and Joey?
2-man team.
Joey's got to be so good outdoors.
Two-man team.
Swole's been good, man. Swole's been
Yeah.
really good, proving that bike is solid. I mean, we know what Camden McClellan and Mikkel Arup are doing
so
over there.
good in the MXGPs.
That bike is damn good. And yeah, I
Have you
mean,
heard anything about the 450 yet?
they're developing it. That's all I know.
It's supposed to be here next year.
I think Joey's going to be on it.
Yeah,
next
that's
year.
what that's
Yeah,
what I'm
I mean,
hearing.
no, I don't-
Joey's
I don't-
supposed to ride it.
I don't
next
have
year.
anything. Like, I think, was it, did they say Mikkel Arup had tested it? No. Somebody over in Europe has tested on it. Somebody, maybe a former factory guy. I don't know, but no, I haven't really heard anything. Bike's good though.
Yeah.
Jaleek's been good. I mean, we've said this about Jaleek all year. Like, he's just been solid, 5%
Mm-hmm.
dude. I think he's going to continue outdoors.
Yeah. All right. Deegs 6th. This
Wow.
is your. Hold on. Isaac Nelson Designs Deegan Danger Zone. Man, he had a rough night.
Gage Linville made his night 10 times.
What the
harder.
fuck was the going on?
I
with
love
that?
it.
How is Gage Linville?
I love it.
I don't. So here's what I don't understand. Okay, you do the heat race, and you are just a fucking thorn in Deegan's side.
Love it.
Then you get into the LCQ,
And you're a thorn in
and
everyone
you are
else's
a
side.
thorn in everyone else's side. And then you get into the main, and you are fucking irrelevant.
Well,
Like what the fuck?
and a lot of people won't remember this, but Linville actually was supposed to be one of those dudes coming out of the amateurs. Like, he was supposed to be everybody talked about Linville.
Well,
Linville
look,
won
he
a
looked
lot.
great in that heat in that LCQ last night, and then in the main, he was just fucking irrelevant.
I
And
mean,
I'm
yeah,
just
dude, like, he
what
burned
is
himself out. He burned himself out. Like, that's just who Linville is. Like, he doesn't have it anymore. He was
I don't know, man.
he was really good as an amateur. Won a bunch in the minis. Was a contender in the B class, A class. Like, Linville was supposed to be one of those dudes, and I don't know if he just got hurt or just a mental thing, but he kind of just has probably gotten to this point in his career that he doesn't win anymore, and he's just like, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean, race of his life there
Oh, it
in
was
the
great.
heat,
Just
like,
making Deegan's life, just everybody shit.
and
Just-
then it's just like, Deeks, this is not a good look for you, bro. Like,
well, and a lot of these, dude, Hayden's racecraft of that heat race was shit. Like, every time
Yeah.
just rolled right into Linville's line.
Uh-huh.
I'm just like, what are you doing, bro? Like,
I
what are you
don't
doing?
know. That was rough. I mean, going down in the sand, which wasn't real. I wouldn't really call that
No.
his fault. That sand was catching everybody.
No, I mean, he had a good night. He
Yeah.
salvaged the points because it could have been a whole lot worse.
Dude, how about that 360 spin out after the finish and then going up the finish line, jumping. As he's doing that, I'm like, oh my God, someone's going to die. Someone's going to come over that finish and hit him head on. Holy shit. And then he just like launches it. I'm like, oh my God.
Dude,
oh my God.
it's wild, man. He still has those moments where you're just like, what are you doing, bro? What
What is happening?
But
and
I
then,
mean,
yeah,
he's
and
just
then
good.
that his start in the main was just garbage
He's good,
too.
yeah.
He was just buried. So, I mean, a good ride to come back to 6th,
Yep.
but it's so rough that you have that night. You have the points leaders have the nights they have, and yet you leave there still 13 points out of the championship. Just a mere image. You're just now in 2nd behind an orange bike instead of in 3rd behind a green bike.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I fully believe Tom's going to win this title. I mean, Deegan, everything he went through, getting hurt in the offseason, working his way through the ups and downs. He's got 2 wins. Like, he's had a decent Supercross season. Obviously, the goal is always to win the title.
It's going to be real weird for him to just go to 450s.
I still don't believe that's going to happen.
I think it is, dude. There is a lot of chatter through a lot of big names
Real dumb chatter.
about him
He's not ready.
going
He's not ready.
to Kawasaki.
He's not ready. He's not ready to go to a 450 yet. Like,
I don't think they
look, he's got
care.
the talent and he's got the determination and he's gritty, and we all know that he will lay it all on the line. Obviously, he's got the speed, but all the Deegan fans and all the people need to take a real hard look in the mirror.
But this isn't fans that I'm
no,
hearing
no,
this
like
out of.
everybody,
This is like
because everybody
legit
keeps saying,
people.
everybody thinks that he's ready. He's not ready.
Oh, well, yeah.
he's not
that's-
ready, dude.
That's
He's-
not a thing, but that doesn't matter. Here's the thing. I think that they do like dirt bikes, and they do like racing, and they do like winning, and they like championships, but here's what I really think that whole Deegan crew likes. Money. And they're going to go to 450s and actually make money. Because, I'll be honest, and you know this, they're not making shit at Star.
No, they're making more off their social media shit.
Yeah.
But do
Yeah.
you really believe, though, that he's going to be able to handle going to the 450 class and just getting stomped
I don't
all
think
over?
they care. And
You don't think Hayden cares that he's going to go to losing?
knowing the salaries? I mean,
Man, and you know I'm not a Hayden Deegan fan, but the one thing I've given him credit for is how gritty he is.
Yes.
The kid wants to win. Do you really think he's going to be able to handle this early in his career going to the 450 class? Because I don't care what anybody says. He's not beating Jet fucking Lawrence.
No.
He's not going to be. He's not going to beat
At
Chase
least not
Sexton
for several years.
I don't think he's ever going to beat him,
I don't
bro.
think so either. But
He's never going to beat Jess Lawrence.
But at least not for
He's
several
not going to beat
years.
Jorge Prado, outdoors at least, and then it's going to take time for Prado and Supercross.
Yeah.
He's not going to beat a fully healthy Chase Sexton. I'm sorry, guys. Like, Deegan is a great talent. He's good for the sport. The kid is not ready. We saw with Stu back in the day when you push somebody to the 450 class, or back then 250 class too early. He's not ready. Do you really believe even with all the money they're going to make, because they've been making money for his entire life.
Yeah.
He knows what it's like. Like, that's not going to be a new thing to him. We've talked about this. Like, money at a certain point is money. Everybody always wants more. But when you're that young, it kind of all feels the same at that point, especially when, like, it's that much money. Mm-hmm. Do you really believe he's going to be able to mentally handle going to the 450 class and never winning ever? I don't want to say ever again. That's strong.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
He's not going to win as long as Jet Lawrence is in the fucking class. I'm sorry, guys.
It'll be really, really interesting to see how this plays out, because there's a
And
like
you really
I said,
think Brian wants to see his kid lose?
the amount of chat. No, but
No,
I think
I don't say
think
you're
he
wrong.
wants that paycheck, dude. And you're getting a paycheck that's 4.5 times more than you're getting right now.
I just can't see with
And on
with
top of
somebody
that,
that-
now you can sell your gear deal. There's another 100,
no.
200 grand. I mean,
I'm not arguing any of that.
like you're going from, hey, I'm making, 6 figures to it's going to be 7 minimal.
but
for
Brian
them.
has a lot of money in the bank.
I understand that, but the whole idea is to, and I
If
think
this was like a Lawrence thing where you didn't have money,
okay, but here's a thought process on this of where I think. Okay, Brian's been through this, right? As far
yeah.
as not only the racing side,
Pastrana
but the
thing,
freestyle motocross
Pastrana.
thing, and what he understands that a lot of these other parents don't is the injury side of things and the serious injury, death, that kind of stuff. I think in his mind, the quicker you can get in, make your money, and be like, I don't have to be here because I don't need the money, essentially, which we don't really think they do anyway, because they do really well with what they're doing. But still, there's a certain level of money you want to make, probably still, because this is your thing. So I think in part of the situation there is going, okay, like, we get to 450, we've been in 250s, we've done okay, we've won some races, we've been in title contention, whatever. We can go to 450s in another year, 2 years, whatever, and start making $1 million plus a year. And then, because by then we're going to be maybe 20, like we'll be like Jet, we'll be maybe 20. We're doing $1 million plus a year on salaries and stuff, plus any bonuses we can pull out. I mean, I
just can't see, with as much as that kid, how determined he is and as gritty as he is, and as much as he wants to win and as much as he's won in his career, that him and even Brian, and I'm not disputing anything you're saying. Everything you are saying is literally not up for debate. It's all factual.
Yeah.
It's not even an opinion. It's facts. I can't see them going to the 450 class. I'm sorry, guys. You can flame me in the comments all you want. If you talk to anybody that has a fucking brain, he's going to go from winning or being able to win races to now he's not even getting on the box. And I understand he's still going to make money.
yeah.
But I just don't believe a kid, because we've always said this about Hayden since he went pro last year. He's gritty. He wants to win.
Yep.
He will he's got heart. Kid's
Yeah.
got heart. He's just all of a sudden, that's just going to be cool. He's just going to be cool with, like, I'm now 5th, 6th place dude.
But do you think they think that, though? Or do you think they think, like, hey, it's going to be a rough start, but
Even you and me, who are anti-Deegan fans, we know there's no way that circle believes, even in 2 years, that he's going to win on a 450.
I didn't say win, but a podium.
So he's going to beat Chase Sexton.
Look, we know. Here's the thing.
He's going to beat Prado.
We know the salaries of those guys on Cowie who aren't doing a whole lot.
Yeah.
Still. I mean, let's face it.
One's a former champ.
AC hasn't done a whole heck of a lot, and we know his salary was a lot.
No, and that's not even my argument.
Well, yeah, and I understand what you're saying. And like I said, if I was not hearing this through as many different channels as I am, that this was happening, I would be like, yeah, there's no way he's going at the end of next year.
Then I will say this. I will just say this then.
Hearing it the ways I'm hearing it, I'm like, dude, this sounds like this is done.
I'll just say this then.
Of course, I've heard the Prado thing's not done yet either.
Yeah, it's
everybody says it is, but I've heard that there's people that are like, I don't know that this is actually signed and done yet.
It's
so
pretty much. Anyways, then this is what I'll say. If that's the case, then the one thing, and not that my opinion matters, but I'll just say this, the one thing that I really, really respect out of Hayden Deegan in that camp is the fact that they really want to win. That goes out the door then. Because even with them, with all the hype around them, Brian is a realist.
Oh, yeah.
And I would like to believe that even Hayden, even as young as he is, that he kind of is getting to that point. They know they're not winning. And outside of a touch of God, he's never going to win as long as Jet Lawrence is there. And he's never beaten Prado.
Yeah.
He's not going to beat Chase Sexton. Yeah, you don't have to worry about Eli and Kenny going because they're going to be going out the door, all people like Ando. He's just not. Like, the kid is super talented and super determined and has a ton of outright speed. But he's not beating those people.
Yeah.
He's not going to be ready.
Nope.
If they go up to the 450s this early, then all of that basically shows me is that they really just actually don't care about winning. And it is a money thing. And you know what, look, man, that's the ultimate goal. You want to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
But they've already made more money than how many people in this world will ever make. And granted, Brian had to do a lot of crazy shit and bust his ass for a long time to get his family. And that's the one thing I love about Brian. And Hayden works his ass off for everything he's accomplished. But Hayden's grown up with money his entire life.
Yeah.
And Brian has had money for a long time. This is not a Jet Lawrence thing and Hunter Lawrence thing where you grew up without money.
Yeah.
So you know what having money's like. I
don't know what'll shock me more at this point.
I don't know.
Them going to 450s that early, or if they don't, after all the talks we've heard. So
yeah, I mean, I just hope for the kid's career, because he already has money, that he stays in the 250 class, dude, because he's always going to have time to make money. Now, the injury thing, that's different. I totally understand that point. But they already have money, man. Like, this is not like this is a kid that's coming off privateers and they're struggling and they're in the red.
Does he have money, though, or do mom and dad have money? Because there's a difference there.
I think he's made, well, I mean, I guess it all depends.
It depends.
We don't
how
know
they
that because that's not our
shuffle it
business.
out. But
yeah.
I'm just
I don't think he's struggling. And even in the case, even if that is true, either way, it doesn't matter because he still has access to all the money he wants.
Yeah.
So, and this is the part of shit that I don't like talking about because I don't ever want to talk about people like their personal shit. We can talk about the money, how much you're making, but when you start talking about like, oh, shit like that has nothing to do with us. I just believe that if he goes to the 450 this early, everything that makes me believe that he could be great one day goes out the window. Plain and simple. I just don't want to see him go to the 450 because I'm telling you, he's not going to win for a very long time, if ever.
Yeah,
because he's not beating Jet. I'm sorry, guys, he's not beating Jet Lawrence.
We'll just have to wait and see here how that shakes out. But
hey, you want to talk about like getting the views? That whole thing we just did there is going to get a lot of views because everybody's like, you guys hate Hayden Deegan. You guys hate Hayden Deegan. No, man, we don't hate Hayden.
I'm totally clipping that segment of he will never win a 450 race.
But you're gonna forget you're gonna leave out the fact that I said as long as Jet Lawrence is there.
Yes.
You? Yes. You're a piece of shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
The quote is going to be he will never win a 450
You're
race.
such an asshole.
Yep. Nope, that's how it's going to work.
Yeah, and you know what the thing is too? Nobody's going to watch to that point. They're just going to see that.
No.
I'm still the bad guy.
That's been your Isaac Nelson Designs Deegan Danger Zone. All right, moving on here. Max Anstey 7th.
Max has got to get a start in the main, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing in the mains.
The Honda starts are rough these days. Because Chance Hymas gets 8th.
That was a good night for him. He worked his way through and then stalled out.
Yeah.
I mean...
So they pulled the plug on outdoors, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That knee is too fucked.
Then I guess, did you hear he had a big crash like 2-3 weeks ago at the compound? Like a big one.
Yeah.
Like head trauma. Big one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's a thing too.
And this is once again the problem with our fucking sport and the pressure they put on these kids.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, it's fine. You know, it's only his life.
Juju, 9th.
Followed Deegan through the pack.
He
then
did.
lost touch with him.
I was surprised because then all of a sudden it was like he was there, he wasn't, he was there, he wasn't, he was there. And then
he was marking him, man. He marked him for a good 10 minutes and then he lost touch with him and then he just kind of...
He's a terrible rider. And
he's fucking terrible. Like KTM, you know, he sucks and he's terrible and you should get rid of him right away.
Yeah, exactly.
We're kidding, guys.
Phil, 10th. Phil had a great night, dude. I thought he was going to win that heat. I was super pumped.
I loved it. The whole Rider D thing and Ryder's trying to run it on him, and then Weege is just blasting. He's like, pretty sure Phil's going to go, yeah, you're the only person to ever just fall over by yourself.
Ever try to take yourself out?
Ever try to take yourself out? And Phil's just probably going, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing?
Dumb
fucking
dick.
stupid kid. This is why I'm retired.
Hey, dumb dick.
Hey, stupid ass.
No, he calls him dumb dick.
Well,
That's
whatever.
that's his saying. Dumb dick.
It was great, though, man. It was great. Like,
Yeah, it
Phil,
was.
I hope Phil has a really good end to Supercross. Now we're going to go back to just the regular West.
Mm-hmm.
And then, dude, I really hope he could be top 10 all outdoors, man. I hope he ends on a good note.
Yeah, me too. All right. Pierce Brown 11th. He went down though. I watched him fall down the order there pretty early.
Which is a bummer.
Yeah,
because he's just been solid the entire
Yeah.
year. But you know what? I mean, it was bound to happen. But at least it
Yep.
wasn't a big one.
Cody Schock 12th. Nate Thrasher. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna
Okay.
say no. Like Cody, I mean, dude, Cody's just continues to prove that he deserves that ride.
Oh yeah.
And Nate's just his fucking starts were terrible.
Nate Thrasher 13th.
Yeah, his starts were fucking terrible.
Yep. Levi Kitchen comes back to 14th.
Salvage ride.
Salvage ride.
Good for him, because if this would have been last year, he'd just been like, I'm pulling off.
Broken ribs,
That's what he apparently said.
possibly.
If that's the case, I know we got a few weeks off, but ribs don't just heal quickly. That's
No,
gonna make
no,
things
it's gonna
real.
suck
Because he was definitely going off adrenaline at that point. Then.
Yeah, and then we're going to Denver. So now we got fucked up ribs and Denver, and I fucked my ribs up last year a little bit, very small amount.
Yeah, well, it's painful.
And it was not fun.
Oh, yeah, it's
no,
painful. No, it
no,
sucks.
it wasn't. At least the first week or two, on a little fuck up.
Yeah.
And his was much bigger. Was
Here's a wild thing: if he did break his ribs,
and that's at sea level here where I can breathe.
if he did break his ribs,
Yes.
and we keep talking about how RJ no winner wins the title. If Levi's out because of his broken ribs, who wins the title?
I don't know.
Like, are we just giving it to Joe? Joe just wins one. Like he just.
Oh my God, would that not be the
Oh my
most
God.
ridiculous? Hey, if I'm RJ, I'm just walking up to Levi before the race and being like, "Hey, buddy, what's up?"
Hey! Oh, sorry, those were your ribs.
Yep.
Bummer, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a salvage ride. That was good.
Yep. Casey Cochran 15th, career over before it starts.
Oh, I thought you had more to that.
Oh, no, you want to go more on Levi?
Oh no, not on Levi. Casey, I thought you had something to say about him because you were like, I'll get
Yeah,
to that.
I mean, it's because he was a B class rider, so he couldn't get his points, so he couldn't come in and just ride all of fucking Supercross this year because again, we don't know what the fuck it's a fucked up system.
I know.
Here we are now after riding futures where we didn't do so hot this year, even though we were the champion last year. I even forgot that. We were the champion of futures last year.
Yeah, because Juju and Dax had rough nights. Yeah, no, that's great. It's good. It's good. And outdoors is just going to be a huge struggle bus.
Yeah. Anthony Bourdon, 16th. Cole Thompson. Have you ever seen Cole Thompson's wife?
No, but I don't.
Fucking smoke show.
He's a dick.
She is. Whew.
Oh, good thing because he's a
Oof. I ran across a picture of him and her on Instagram yesterday, and I was like, "Who is this?" And I was like, "Cole Thompson." All right.
Cole Thompson's a dude.
I've heard that from a lot of people. Henry Miller, 18th.
Just keeps making mains, man.
Just trucking along. Ryder D, 19th.
Whatever.
Dax Bennett didn't have to clean his locker out, but he's on probation now. 20th.
He's really fallen off, by the way.
Yeah, it's...
Like you go, and I understand the situation. 90% of the top
but
dudes
he's
got
still,
cleaned out.
8th in points.
That's not great. Like when you look, I understand with Tom, McAdoo, Seth, Deegan, a lot of the top dudes having the issues that they did in the first round in Detroit. So you can kind of say, oh, it was a gimme. But when you go from getting on the box your first race to LCQ,
Yeah.
no top fives.
LCQ last night, though, didn't shock me. I
No,
mean,
but
it's
he's been
a
in a-
showdown.
he's been in a-
Yeah, he's been in a couple.
It's like, man, like, and I know,
Yeah.
like, I'm not trying to bag on the kid. I think he's good. I think he's going to be good outdoors. But he's definitely kind of, I feel like he shit the sheets for quite a few rounds now.
And then we have Cameron McAdoo, 22nd. Now, look here. I'm not going to rub salt in the wound on him. Okay? This is terrible for him. This sucks. However, I'm going to point a lot of fingers at you, mostly this one, because I fucking told you this last week of I wasn't going to... Oh, McAdoo, he's fine. He's fine. He's changed.
Well,
and
that
again,
wasn't
it's not
fault.
necessarily his fault.
Okay.
But as I touched, because I'm sure you saw this on the thing, reaction show, this is his luck.
Then that
This is what happens?
That comment I have no problem with agreeing with. I have the problem with anybody that thought it was going to be his fault.
Well, it might have been. At this point, it just wasn't. But this is what happens to him, okay? And again, like I said, until that checkered flag goes, same thing with RJ leading there now. Till that checkered flag goes in Salt Lake and they get that number 1 plate, I'm out.
Yeah, well, and he's out. He's going to be
out.
And
he is out.
He's out now. Yeah, he's going to be out.
I saw a comment. Somebody was like, it's time for PC to just cut their ties with McAdoo. Why? To replace him with who? Cochran, who gets 15?
Yeah, and like, why would you...
The guy wins races and is literally in the title fight every single year.
And pretty much...
why would you cut ties with him? That's the most ignorant comment I've heard
and a PR... well, if you had a PR department.
Yeah.
PR person's dream, because like, who would not look at Cameron and go... This kid is fucking awesome.
He's such a nice guy.
Exactly. Like, you want him to win. Even if you have no affiliation to him, you want him to win.
The problem is we need some bad guys in the sport. We need bad guys who are not bad guys.
We need more French people.
But are bad guys.
We need more French people over here. Because Tom, same thing. Just too nice of a guy. He's not the typical French guy.
Maybe when the Coonan brothers get here, they'll be assholes.
Oh,
and
Lucas
awesome.
is going to fuck shit up. It's going to be great.
I'm excited.
in for it.
Kaida Wolf.
Yeah, Kai's kind of like a big teddy bear. But yeah, like, why the fuck would you want to cut ties with McAdoo? That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard.
That was the most ignorant comment I saw
shit I've ever heard.
all fucking week. I was like, what
God,
the
dude,
hell?
just a bummer for him, man.
I mean, it's a bummer, but this is exactly the type of stuff that I saw coming.
I really believed that he was going to win. Like, he was going to win the title, in my opinion. Like, if you would have just taken out if that had been a normal person, he was going to win the title. Like, as much as I'm a Tom Vieau guy, like, I don't think Tom was going to win it. McAdoo was going to be too solid with his riding. Obviously, shit out of his control. But now he's just out. And here's the thing. Depending on how bad that shoulder is, he's already been riding with a fucking broken leg pretty much. Like, what's going to happen for outdoors? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. You talk about a kid, you know, we got a lot of kids in this sport that don't appreciate the things that are given to them or don't work hard once they've, like, gotten the ride. Mm-hmm. We all know it. I'm not blowing anybody out of the water. I'm just saying... You know, there's a lot of people in this sport that just don't appreciate the things that they have. Cameron truly does.
Yeah.
Because he was a nobody as an amateur. Like, he literally was nobody until his last year in A-class when Tony Alessi, of all people, found him. And he was riding a white Kawasaki Moto Concepts bike.
Yep.
And then he gets a Geico ride and PC and all this. And he's been in there and out for titles in Supercross. Never for outdoors, but he's never really been known as an outdoor guy. It's just a bummer, dude. Because... Unless just Mitch is going to sign him to a lifetime contract in the 250 class, but I mean, why not? Faulkner's been on one. Like, if he moves up...
We asked him, by the way, if he was going 450 outdoors. We haven't heard back yet.
Huh. I don't know, man. I'm so bummed for him. Yeah. I'm so fucking bummed for him.
Yep. So...
Because, like, when shit like that happens, it's out of your control. If he would have just crashed because he would have been a typical McAdoo and just shut his brain off and would have just rode with his heart instead of his mind, I'd been like, yep, just normal Cameron McAdoo.
Yeah.
But when you have stuff like that happen to you that has literally nothing to do with you, it is the biggest bummer ever.
Yep. So, all right. So that has been your 250 race recap brought to you by our friends at 50 Grafx. Anything else you want to touch on here? Okay, well, that's been show 268, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. These shows are getting shorter. We're getting better at this.
Well, yeah, when Cole's not here.
Yeah. Well, last week
Just
even
kidding,
too.
Cole.
Last week we were only like 2 hours long. It was weird.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're getting better at maximizing our time.
I guess so. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so this has been show 268. Thanks to all our sponsors. 50 Grafx, Complete Racing Solutions, TLR Coatings, Flo Racing, Worx, Isaac Nelson Designs, Holster Co. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. Do you think RJ is going to win this title? Is Jet going to solidify it?
Who wins in Philly, guys?
Whoever doesn't get stabbed.
It's a day race, too, so that's nice.
It's super great.
It's great.
Super great.
Great.
So, yeah, so we'll be back next week with all the usual shows here. So thanks again for tuning in. Sponsor links in the description down below. Pick up your merch in the description down below. And we'll see everybody next week.